Welcome to episode 79 of the Reptile Combo podcast. It's going to be a weird episode.
It's going to be a really weird episode because I don't know how much I'm going to hang with you tonight.
I know, and we're missing somebody because
we are, and his chair is very low to the ground.
Well, yeah, that chair over there is much higher.
And I feel short.
You look short.
I do.
It'll be okay. So Robert's not with us tonight. He's feeling under the weather. We did miss.
He's better.
He's better. But we did miss last week because I've been trapped in a bedroom for an entire week because I tested positive for COVID. I did not have any symptoms really for COVID, but I tested positive. So
you tested negative today,
I tested negative today.
Which means I get to come back to the bedroom. That's and true. Not on the futon.
Katie can move from the futon and back to the bedroom.
I'm going to stab you in your face if you touch me tonight.
That means I can't watch TV in bed tonight.
Nope. You got to watch TV on the couch.
I've been used to watching TV until like 3 a.m.
Nope. Not anymore.
So I got COVID at the worst possible time. I got it the night. Well, I tested positive the night before school was supposed to start with students. So I'm at a new school in a new state, and I have yet to actually be in my classroom. And by the time I see them, my kids will have been in there for a week and a half without me, with random subs for the last week and a half.
Josephine and I, on the other hand, managed to stay negative the whole time. We've quarantined. She has treated us pretty much like we have the plague. But it's I mean, she wears her mask all the time.
Yes.
Even at home. He hasn't left the bedroom until today.
I mean, I went to the snake room a couple of times, but I wore a mask, and then I got in there and closed the door.
And I made him wash his hands before he came out of our bedroom. He wasn't allowed to touch anything. And then he had to wash his hands as soon as he got back in the bedroom.
Yes.
Because there's a bedroom and bathroom.
But now I'm negative and we're good.
Yeah. Well, so you're good.
Yeah,
I woke up and my eyeball looks horrible.
But before anything, she tests negative.
But I'm still negative for COVID. It's not COVID garbage. It's just garbage. My allergies doesn't like Texas garbage.
Yeah, I think a bunch of people are getting allergy issues right now, and it's just hitting at the same time as COVID is also hitting. So it's just been a big cluster.
Yeah.
But so we're here tonight. Robert's not here. We were not here last week. We had a guest lined up for last week, and then he got busy this week. But we have another guest. We will bring him in a little bit. If you've seen the title of this episode, then you know who our guest is. But if not, then you'll see him when I bring him in. Before we get there, let's go ahead and do our sponsor stuff. Katie is here. Katie, you've missed the podcast for
I've missed it for a while. I feel bad for our listeners because I didn't realize how many people actually like me, which makes me feel special.
I've told you people like you.
I know, but I don't ever believe you when you tell me. That's like a parent telling their child you have friends when they really don't have friends.
You're talking about our kid?
I mean, no, she made friends her first day of school at a new school. Like 3 really great friends, and they're fabulous kids.
It's only a weekend. You don't know that. They could be horrible kids.
He spoke to me one of the kids spoke to me after school today because his mom is also a teacher, and I adore him. He's like one of my new favorite people.
Give it time.
But anyways, yes. So
our first sponsor,
I apologize to my listeners, is Lone Star Reptile Racks. If you are looking for a high quality PVC rack, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. They offer a variety of sizes for all types of snakes, geckos, rats, and more. You can even order something custom. Shipping is available, or you can pick up at a HERPS Reptile show near you. Visit lsreptileracks.com to reach out to Lone Star Reptile Racks and place your order today.
.com. He's not here, so let's still do it. .com. Anyways. So yes, Lone Star Reptile Racks. Get a hold of Robert. Get your rack ordered. Oh, look, Corey Martin is on.
Hello,
and so is Ilana and JT and Tracy.
I know.
It's a whole HERPS
lot
family.
Of our friends.
Our other sponsors. Well, we'll get to another one. We'll go with Wiregrass Exotics.
I wasn't ready.
Oh, did you have a blurb for Wiregrass Exotics?
I don't actually. The blurb that I did that one week, I completely made up on the spot, and I don't remember what I said.
So I'll do it. And then we'll get one written.
Yes.
Okay. Robert is in the group chat. So if anybody is missing Robert,
yay,
he is in the group chat. Anyways, our other one, Wiregrass Exotics, go visit Dallas and Amanda Rua, who just got back from Daytona. So we may have to have them on at some point because I got to find somebody that went to Daytona.
I think we should have them on. That would be great.
They can talk about Daytona. I haven't been there since our wedding, since our honeymoon. That was the last time we went to Daytona in 2009. So it's been a while. But go visit the Ruas in Ozark, Alabama at their shop. They have an awesome feeder program where I just think it's cool that you can go in, you can pay your monthly fee for your crickets, and then you can pick them up as you need them. So you're not getting 1,000 crickets that come home and 500 of them die. If you go in and pay for 1,000 crickets, then you go in and get 100 this week, 500, whatever it is, and get them as you need them, which I think is an awesome way to do feeders. I think more pet stores should do feeders that way. I'm trying to read. Katie's looking at her phone, so she's not reading the group chat. And I'm trying to do everything at one time.
Hi, Callie. We love you, Kelly.
Well, some people do.
It's not Saturday, James. It's your friend.
It's not Sunday, so I think I can be a friend. I think it's just Sundays I'm not counting.
I thought it was Saturdays you were her friend.
Saturday I am her friend, but we didn't make decisions during the week.
About the week? Oh, okay.
We haven't decided.
Y'all are weird.
Oh, Robert's saying he's logging in enough time to say he's still recovering from COVID.
Okay, so that's why Robert was sick. We didn't tell you because I didn't want to share his business. But he said it, so now yes. But we were all sick.
But he is now free of COVID.
Yay.
He's just he's still getting over it. He actually had the symptoms and coughing and all that stuff, but he is getting better.
And that's just one more reason we hate James Lewis, because he was asymptomatic.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Let's just be real. He has driven me absolutely up the damn wall this week.
You weren't in prison.
Let me out of the bedroom. I can come out of the bedroom. Stay your ass in there, you outbreak monkey.
That reference at some point is not going to mean anything to people. I feel like if I say the
cool people know the reference.
Yeah, but I feel like if I can't say outbreak monkey at school because I feel like kids have no fucking clue.
Oh, they have no idea.
No clue.
I referred to you as the outbreak monkey the other day, and only like 2 of my coworkers got it. And I'm like, damn, you're all young.
Yeah.
They didn't get it. I was like, sad, but.
So anyways, Wiregrass Exotics. And then our third sponsor is actually our guest tonight, but he is currently driving. So I wanted to wait till he got home. He's almost home, but it is Shawn Gray from HERPS Reptile Shows. So if you want to go to a HERPS Reptile, I should have pulled it up. Shawn, I could ask Shawn what the dates are. He probably, no, it's a Lori question. Why am I going to
John Grant, you need to watch the movie Outbreak.
John Grant's 12 years old. So I can forgive John Grant. He's not old enough to know what Outbreak is or to be able to buy alcohol.
I'll start it with the damn monkey.
Anyways, HERPS Reptile Shows. I missed this one this past week and it killed me. I couldn't leave the house because of COVID.
Neither one of us could.
No. And
it wasn't far. It was the Bryan College Station show.
I know. We could have gone there.
We could have gone and hung out, and 2 hours away from our house.
Yeah, there's a whole reason to move. Well, one of the reasons moving to Texas, we were closer to all the shows, and
closer to the majority of the shows.
Well, shows that we're going to go to. Well, we're now farther away from the Louisiana shows, which
that's okay.
So, anyways, the next show is Conroe. That's September 11th and 12th. That is coming. I still feel like we were just at Conroe, but if you're listening and you're trying to figure out what show to go to next, you should definitely come to the Conroe show. That is the awesome show. You got to watch this hat. I can't.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's my new job.
It's Conroe, September 11th and 12th. New Orleans, September 25th and 26th. I think we're going to that one.
We're going to see what happens in the world between now and then.
That's true. And then Beaumont, Texas, October 2nd and 3rd. We are going to that one because it's like an hour away.
Yes.
That's freaking awesome.
There's good food there.
What food is?
We ate at Jay Wilson's.
Oh, that place is good.
There's good food in Beaumont.
Yeah, we're gonna eat at Jay Wilson's.
I judge vacations based on food and where we eat. In case anyone has figured that out. Not important. Moving on.
A Reuben of some sort, but it wasn't a Reuben. Anyways, and then Temple, Texas, October 23rd, 24th. We'll go to that one. That's close enough. This is the one we're definitely fucking not going to. I just can't. It's Amarillo, Texas, and it's like 500 hours away. It's
Halloween weekend.
That is. It's the Halloween weekend show. So if you are near there, you should definitely go. I hear they're going to have some cool Halloween related events going on. You should definitely be at the Amarillo, Texas. And then November 6th and 7th is Lafayette. So now I'm back by myself.
You are. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. So it's just me. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Shawn. So I'm not by myself. Shawn is driving home. Welcome, Shawn.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Kinda. Hear a lot of road noise, but we can hear you. Where are you driving? Where are you driving home from?
From the shop. Got the keys today.
Oof. All right, Shawn, I'm gonna wait till you get home and then I'm gonna bring you back in. That road noise is loud. So everybody gets just me. Brendan says he judges vacations on zoos and aquariums. So I don't judge them on zoos and aquariums, but when I was a kid, we went to every zoo and aquarium, no matter what town we went to. And so when I got older and I became a zookeeper and I'd see people in the zoo like on days when it's just raining, and I'd have other zookeepers wondering, why are people coming to the zoo when it rains? I was that person. If we were in a town for just the weekend and it was raining all weekend, I was going to be at the zoo in the rain because I was that kid. So, but I do know most of the zoos in the Southeast, and I can tell you some that are pretty good and some that are eh. But zoos are weird. Like you can go to a zoo that it depends on what you want. Because like Fort Worth Zoo is amazing if you are a reptile fan. They have the Moab, which is the museum of. So, anyways, they've got an amazing. I'm sure Shawn is going to tell me what it's called in like 5 minutes when I bring him back in. But it's amazing reptile building. Millions of dollars spent on it. You can sit there and eat your McDonald's right next to a crocodile. It's an amazing place. But if you're not a reptile person, I think the Fort Worth Zoo is it's okay. It's not that great outside of reptiles. But I'm a reptile person, so I judge it on the reptile house. Birmingham Zoo in Birmingham, Alabama is a nice zoo. But it's a very old reptile house. So, I can let Shawn back in. He's home. Shawn's back.
Better?
That is much better.
Okay. Museum of Living Art, dipshit.
Museum of Living Art. MOA. That's right. MOA.
Mola.
Mother of all bombs. That's completely different. MOA. Mola. Anyways, that's an awesome reptile exhibit. Like, if you're a reptile person, that's a great zoo.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like I said, there are some zoos that when you go to, they still have the old school reptile house where you just walk in and it's a hallway and it's just wooden boxes on each side. But that's a great one. So Shawn is coming home from his new shop, which we kind of talked about last time you were on. How's that going?
Oh, we got the keys today. So just a lot of work in there today. I mean, you saw a little sneak peek earlier of the room, and we're going to be painting Saturday, and I'm going to start making orders and buying animals. And I did get a blackhead for the shop, though. That's really cool.
I saw that. So I'm assuming that's a display animal, not a for sale animal at the shop.
Yeah, it's a display animal. It's one of those, bucket list kind of things. And I named him Ozzy. So
named him what?
Ozzy.
Oh.
So it's Black Sabbath and it's Ozzy Australian. So
I had a rainbow boa that was Ozzy because of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Gotcha. That's Oz, not Ozzy.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah. It was also related because I like Black Sabbath, but still. So in your new reptile shop, I mean, how much of it is going to be animals that you are putting up for display versus things for sale?
I'm only going to have 2 or 3 animals for display. I'm going to have my Ackies. Steven's still working on the countertop for us. He won't show me the fucking pictures of it or what it looks like or his design or anything. So I'm going to have Ackies on display.
Hello.
Sorry, call me. Then I have the blackhead. And then Bill Stiegel donated a red chondro, which Steven's also making a custom enclosure for to show off. So that's pretty much it. I might get a banana pectinata or something like that from Carl to show off eventually.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But yeah, most of it's going to be for sale, but I want to have a few things in there,
Chris Eaton said Ozzy isn't from Australia. We know that. He was making the connection of
Ozzy.
Being a snake from Australia and also naming it after Ozzy. It was a crossover, Chris Eaton.
A little bit.
Stay in your lane. Speaking of Steven, I do want to point out this amazing sign again that I keep pointing out every episode because I still can't get over every time I walk in. This is hanging on my wall.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But this Reptile Gumbo podcast sign with the lights and everything, you should if you're looking for a cage for a kind of display, a thing you won't be able to walk in and go, wow, what is that? You definitely got to look up Focus Cubed and check out their cages. It's crazy. Hey, Katie's back. Welcome back, Katie.
Thanks.
Hi, Katie.
Shawn said hi, but you don't have your headphones on.
I just sat like 4 million feet down in this chair.
That is a short chair. So yeah, we were talking about. Well, I was talking about that.
I heard you talking about the sign and the shop, which is so exciting.
Yeah,
I got excited about all the space that isn't sales floor because that's just a lot of space for you to like do stuff and have breeding projects.
All of our personal animals will be there. We'll probably have the Aldabras on display, the small ones. I won't be lugging Kona up there every day, but we'll have hummingbirds fighting over my head. We're gonna have interaction rooms. We have a room planned for Grant for some tortoise encounters, and then another room for.
For everybody listening, that is not Grant, that's not John Grant. They're not going to put John Grant in a room and let people play with them. That is the Wallaby Grant.
Yeah. So And I really, really, really like what Amanda and Dallas are doing with the feeder program. That's pretty interesting. I might reach out to them and kind of get their insight on that.
Yeah, I thought that was like the coolest thing because especially anybody that's ever had to get large scale number of crickets, you know that they're going to die. So many of them are going to die before you get to feed them out.
So yeah, we're excited. Like we have so much room in that back room for all the animals that we own, plus quarantine room, plus room for extra inventory, live feeders. We're going to carry all the insect, all the bugs and roaches. I picked up thousands and thousands and thousands of hissing cockroaches from a couple people this weekend. So,
ugh, I can't do this.
Yeah,
they climb
and they taste bad. So
I will take your word for that.
Yeah, just take my word for it. They taste horrible. So
I've never thought. I wonder if that tastes good. That was never.
Oh, I knew it was gonna taste like shit. Tastes like rotted oranges, and then the babies popped out in my mouth, and
no.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Whoa.
Are y'all gonna have frozen feeders?
Yeah. So actually, we went to Best Buy yesterday. I got 2 upright freezers and another fridge. There's a fridge already there for like break room, but so we're gonna have alive and frozen. And we'll have all the insects covered, and then we'll have quail, chicks, and eggs, and rabbits, and all kinds of stuff like that for feeding.
So are you going to breed your own live, or are you just going to have somebody deliver?
No.
Okay.
No, I have a delivery set up for once a week. So
something really cool. I know Grant Family Exotics, they do cricket cards, and it's $15 for 13 dozen, and you can get 1 dozen or all 13 dozen whenever you need them, and it doesn't expire. And then they just buy a new card, and it may be something similar to what they're doing at Wiregrass Exotics. But if you think about it, if you're close to a pet shop that offers that, that's really the way to go. We do the cricket subscriptions through Gecko World Austin, and that's great because I can get them shipped to my house. I don't have to worry about it. It's done automatically, and then we can
do a low quantity. That's the big thing.
Yeah. But y'all could do the lower quantity. Obviously, we need more than like 12 at a time. So that subscription for me is great, but I think it's awesome for local owned pet stores to do something like that. And I mean, that's really cool.
Sorry, I'd get attacked by a bulldog.
It's okay.
But
Millie's been in here twice, and then here comes the rest of them.
Yeah, it is very exciting. It's exciting to see all these smaller, and they're reptile stores. I mean, they are pet stores, but they're reptile stores. But seeing the Ruas and seeing Shawn and knowing JT's store and watching that one grow, it is awesome to see these little specialty shops comes. Look, the big box stores have their place, and they definitely do what they need and all that. But it's nice to be able to go to a place where the person actually knows the animal you own, knows about them, can help you, and that you can trust.
Well, and to do the setup right and to educate people.
Yes,
correct.
That's the biggest thing. Is the thing with those big box stores is that yes, they do have some of the same products and things we're going to be carrying, but they're going to try to sell you everything that you don't need.
I can't stand kits. Kits I despise. Like if it's a kit done, like if you start making your own kits and sold them.
I was going to say, you need to rephrase everything.
It's not that.
You just
it's not that. I hate.
You hate unnecessary pre-made kits with unnecessary supplies.
Yes.
That's what you are not a fan of. Dallas and Amanda Rua have a really awesome phrase that they've mentioned to me before about their store when we've been talking. And of course, I can't find it now. It's something along the lines of conservation through education, and captive breeding or something like that. And I love that. I think that's so great. Like Corey Martin said, it's awesome to see HERPS family people take over the world. I mean, one day at a time, one small shop at a time.
We're only going to be buying from our vendors. That's where we're sourcing everything.
I think that's awesome. I mean, we're helping, conservation through education and captive breeding. I got it right.
So Stephen Howley said, "Don't worry, Shawn. Something wicked is coming for the herp shop."
Nice.
I have no doubt. I'm just, Bill Stiegel actually asked me today. He goes, "Has he shown it to you yet?" I'm like, "No." "Did he show it to you?" He goes, "Yep." I'm like, "Oh."
That's so funny.
So I'm
Stephen,
excited.
feel free to send the picture to me just so I can say I've seen it.
No, fuck
And
you.
if you're watching us on Facebook, you can also watch us on YouTube. I want to throw that in there. I know Robert logged in on YouTube. He's kind of doing what I did the night that I wasn't on here, but I was like logging into all possible ways to see everybody, which was pretty funny.
Well, so speaking of not seeing your thing that Stephen made, all I got was a picture of like a corner of this with a screw in it, and that was all he sent me the first time. And I had no fucking clue what he was making because I mean,
what was going on?
I was like, that's because I asked him how big. He's like, yeah, it's about 4x4. I was like, well, that's huge. And then he told me to think in 2 dimensions, not 3 dimensions.
Well,
and then I was even more confused.
Before I lose this train of thought, I want to go back to what you said about the captive breeding thing, because captive breeding only exists through importation. So
that is true.
So I'm not opposed to importation as long as it's done properly.
Absolutely.
There's certain things that you need to get new bloodlines for so that you're not causing genetic deformities in line breeding and things like that.
Absolutely.
But I'm not for getting a box from Delta and open on Friday or Saturday morning and open up on your table and bagging shit and selling it. That's not what.
That's also, I'd like to see more captive breeding in certain things. One thing I've talked about before is Savannah Monitors. I think Savannah Monitors are awesome, but so many of them come in as juveniles or babies shipped over from Africa because there's not a lot of folks that are producing them in captivity.
Well, and I had the hypo project, but that I was going to be working on, but with the salves. But unfortunately, my big girl Puffer passed last year just unexpectedly. I mean, she was 6 or 7 years old, full grown.
Oh wow.
Big adult, and just found her dead one day. And that sucks about keeping reptiles, but no other reason. She was trying to eat the tongs the day before and just died. It's crazy. So
we were talking in Corpus. We're talking to I cannot remember the vet's name that was in Corpus.
Kristen.
Yes. I asked him, some people have snakes and lizards that just die, and we just chalk it up to they just died, and so many of us don't get necropsies, and there's a reason. I mean, necropsies are not cheap, and it's not really going to tell you anything. Yeah, I know. I'm filling in everybody else, but a necropsy is not cheap, and if it's not really going to give you anything, I see not getting it. But he said so many of them do. I asked him, I said, do you think a lot of them are dying from cancer? Because we know it's an issue. And he said, yeah. And so a lot of these people out there, I want people to understand that when you have an animal, say it's 6 or 7 years old, that you've been taking perfect care of and it just up and dies, a lot of people get down on themselves for, what did I do wrong? Sometimes you just didn't. Sometimes, like you said, it just happens. And reptiles are really good at hiding that they're sick until they die.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
But
lizards that just die.
Katie, what the? Turn.
I'm sorry.
Put your phone away.
I'm so sorry.
My God.
We do have our friends at No Drama Llama Pet Shop as well.
I know. I forgot. My bad, Ilana. That's another.
I mean, that's another herps people taking over.
That is true. I am excited that. So you're getting your animals from herps people, so you can tell them exactly where it came from, how old it is. There's so many of these shops that, and it's just how it is. But they order from wholesalers, and I'm not bashing that. That's how many of these have to do it. Not a lot of them have a supply chain like you're going to have.
Yeah.
But it is really nice to have that chain and to have such a wide variety that you can get for your shop, and people can trust the health and all that of the animals. Yeah,
and that's true. And we're going to be trying to carry all the lines of the caging too, and the lighting, and I've already got pretty much all my accounts set up for all the wholesalers and stuff for the supplies and feeders and everything else. It's a lot of little tedious shit that goes into opening a shop, which I was prepared for because I was going to do, I was already working on a shop before HERPS. So
yeah,
situations change though. Now I've vended for years, so I had kind of a source, I could go to, but now I have hundreds and hundreds of people that I can source animals from. And, so it's been overwhelmingly positive from, everyone. And, like I said, I wanted to start it before, but it wasn't until I was actually helping John and Callie at their grand opening that kind of got the spark under my ass. I was like, I really could do this again. And there's nothing here. There were several people that came. I joined the Chamber of Commerce in Bryan, College Station, and there were several people that came to the show that knew about the show this weekend that were chamber members, and they all made sure they came up and thanked me for joining, and we're all excited about it because there's nothing like what we're doing here, you know. And we're going to be releasing another 1,200 square foot in July. That's next door. We're taking over the entire building. So we're going to actually be doing some parties and things like that, but we're going to be doing weekly workshops or monthly workshops probably, where we do like 7 to 9 p.m. We bring in people and teach them how to set up a bearded dragon or how to properly feed a ball python or how to build a vivarium. And then we're going to have a little terrarium building station where, you know, kids can come in and build a little ecosystem kind of terrarium where they can pick out their decorations and plants and things like that. So there's a few different things that we've been working on for a while, but hopefully we can implement everything. So we'll make it, you know, John said something about making it a destination, and that's what we want to do. You know, it's a shop, but we want it to be an experience too. So,
well, and you're in a college town, and as someone who,
it's not a normal college town.
Yeah,
I get that a lot, but let me step back. It's a town that has 130,000 people in a 10-mile radius of our shop, but it's a college town where the median household income is almost $70,000 a year. And the community around the college is a lot larger than the university. So it's not just a normal college town. A&M is a fucking city. It is insane.
But the positive I was saying from that is that as someone, so my college town was like the size of this room. It was my university, a Walmart, and like 2 Waffle Houses. But we had a pet shop, and it was fucking horrible. It was this woman just ordered stuff off of a list, had no clue what it was, would sell it no matter, just horrible. So the fact that you'll have these college age kids who definitely want to own a snake, a lizard, a spider or something, but they can come into a shop and actually get the information they need, and maybe you'll have less of those snake getting loose in a dorm room or something like that.
It's surprising. It's surprising how even the customers who come to the shows who don't own animals yet are way more educated than some of the places that we go where you would expect it to be. There's not a lot of is that a Geico gecko, or that I found leopard geckos, so I found them all over my house. It's not a lot of that. It's a lot of people that are educated because it's an agricultural town. It's an animal loving town. So the entire area around here knows animals, and my feed store people are already helping me stock Missouri and all kinds of shit. So it's different than a normal everyday college town. You know, it's definitely a different feel. So I don't, I know that you can't keep, mambas and shit in your dorm room here, but we're not gonna be selling venomous anyway. But again, a lot of the people don't live on campus unless they're freshmen.
Yeah.
So they're wealthy enough, honestly, that they have condos and houses and, but the majority of our customers are actually not college kids. It's those people who are in their mid 30s that are coming to the shows. They may have gone to school at A&M and they stayed here and live here.
JT pointed out they have a vet school. I'm assuming like LSU that their vet school has an actual office.
Yeah, they have one of the top vet schools in the United States here, and we're actually going to be working with Jill Heatley, who I got to work with the sea turtle rescue stuff when we were releasing. She was tagging and taking blood samples while we were there, so I met her. But she's actually going to be our exotic vet. She's one of the top A&M exotic vets as well. She's going to be our vet there. The only bad thing is that they've actually stopped working on solely just an exotic vet classes. They're stepping away from that. But I'm also in the Texas A&M HERPS Society. I have been for years. We have several members that are vendors and previous vendors, and we call HERPS family that were in there when they were in college here. So we have a pretty good network of people in the area.
It seems weird to move away from exotics because that's a growing part of pet keeping.
It is, but most of the A&M stuff is going towards engineering and arts. It has one of the top art schools in the United States. It definitely is one of the top engineering schools. So you're seeing a trend away from agricultural medicine and veterinarian in the area to more technological stuff here. And that's just the sign of the times, honestly,
Gotcha.
So,
It shocks me. But it's good that you have someone there because you'll have a vet to be able to reference people to if they're having a health issue with the reptile, which is so hard for many people in the hobby, finding a good reptile vet.
It is.
Unless you live in a larger area, it's hard to find somebody who truly has experience. You can find a vet who'll be like, oh yeah, I can do that. But I mean, they're not a reptile person.
Both of my exotic vets that were in the Dallas area were both A&M graduates. So that tells you anything.
Awesome. So I had a couple of questions that I posted a question last week and we didn't get a chance to talk about it. And you're opening a pet store and you have a wide variety of animals. So I feel like this will be an interesting one to ask. But the question was, do you keep only one type of reptile, amphibian, and vertebrate? And if so, why? I know you don't. I know I don't. But I was looking at some of them. And I guess I kind of keep. Majority of mine is specifically snakes, but they're not one type of snake. But looking at some of the answers, Maddie McCann said, I mostly keep snakes. I just vibe with them better, I guess. I don't have like a set reason. I'm just drawn to them. I've always been infatuated with snakes, and it's just intensifies with every passing day. They're just my passion animal. I get that. Yeah. I'm mostly a snake person. I know you're kind of all over the place, but you like turtles a lot.
Well, and actually that's Lori's favorite is the turtles and tortoises. I mean, I love tortoises. The big tortoises have always fascinated me. But I've always been a lizard guy. I started breeding green anoles when I was, 8 or 9 years old. So I've always been a lizard gecko guy, and the monitors, the baronid species is probably my favorite because of their intelligence and problem solving kind of thing,
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing like going out in your backyard and walking out into a pasture and, rubbing a 250-pound rock that moves, it's pretty cool, actually.
I miss our tortoises.
Yeah, tortoises are cool. And like, I really want to get back into getting some like Burmese browns and blacks.
They get so big. I don't even realize how big those guys get.
No, they do get big. They get close to sulcata size.
I know the black, they can get, sulcata size. I've seen some big ones before. I'm like, they
get really large, but they're like the puppy dogs. I mean, they follow you. They have this intense personality, and
they can climb.
Yeah, they can. There was so I got my first, they were blacks, but they were sold to me as browns years ago. And it was at a ETHS show. And the guy that had them, that bred them, was talking to me about actually going to Burma and going down a trail on the side of a mountain and looking up and seeing turtle heads sticking. Well, not turtle heads. Sorry, Katie, but turtle heads sticking over the edge of the rocks.
You self-corrected. It's okay.
But yeah, seeing the tortoise heads sticking their heads over the edge of the rocks, looking down on them, and they were up on these cliffs and rock faces and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. But whenever we had ours years and years ago, we made like makeshift like hills and mountains and bricks and all kinds of stuff, and they climbed all over them.
I think with tortoises, everybody is so used to sulcatas in the hobby that the behaviors of a lot of the other ones really shock people. But one thing that was kind of cool this week, there was an article that came out. It was on several different pages.
Oh yeah,
it was the Galapagos tortoise that
it was on Aldabra. Yeah, it was on Aldabra.
But
it was like Seychelles.
Yeah, they showed the still frame pictures of it. It walked up to a bird as the bird's yelling at it, and it just fucking ate it.
Yeah, it followed it around for quite a while. If you read the article, it like stalked it and just stayed on its butt. That was pretty interesting to see. I mean, I feed the cow. I'm about to piss the cows off. They're out here, but I feed rodents that don't get eaten the first day for a snake or something frozen thawed. They get to my box turtles. I mean, or my redfoots.
I'll say my redfoot. I've got a redfoot now that I'm going to start feeding pinkies every now and then because I know redfoots eat meat. When we worked at the zoo, we had a redfoot that lived with the kookaburra, and it loved when the kookaburra would drop mice.
That's what we didn't get to talk about.
What? Oh, our new animals?
We didn't have one last week, and I got a Mexican black king snake.
Oh, I thought you got a kookaburra.
So no, hell no.
No fucking way. I hated that bird at the zoo. Oh, I hated that bird.
If you ever walk into Pets of Plenty, just go when you walk in the door. and that thing will not stop. And Andy Maddox gets so pissed off, but I did it when he had Gumbo. Oh, yeah. I do it for the new one. Yeah.
I did it. I would do that. I would shrill to the ones at the zoo.
I wouldn't. I hated that noise.
I liked the noise. It doesn't bother me. It made me think of
I
the Girl
actually
Scout
think
songs.
that's what I'm going to have my doorbell like at the shop. I'm going to have a program to do that real loud as soon as you walk in.
Don't you love whenever you're watching old school like Tarzan movies and shit, and it's based in Africa, and all of a sudden they just pump in some kookaburra noise?
Yeah. But yeah, so normally when we get back from a show, we sit down at the beginning and I realize that we're 35 minutes in and we talk about what we got at the show. And
which show?
So it was the Corpus Christi show, which I've never been to before. I love Corpus. The area is fabulous. I had so much fun at the beach that night. It was so fabulous.
I've never seen more toads in my entire fucking life.
Wait till you come to my back porch.
Oh,
really?
Man.
The house we stayed at in Corpus, the back porch, the wooden back porch, not even the ground, the wooden back porch had 30 of them, ranging from small to large.
Yeah, that was pretty great. Alana and I just like stood at the door and watched them at one point because she stayed at the house with us. And
Buddy Duddy didn't come to the beach.
No, he had a great night and fished on his own.
I didn't catch anything, but it was wonderful. I sat there.
It was as therapeutic as it was for me to be barefoot in the sand.
Yeah,
it was therapeutic for him to be on that.
I listened to some owls talking back and forth at one point. Nice. That was really cool.
Although he was by himself that night and then got his ass quarantined for a week after that. So
that's true.
But anyway, so it was our anniversary, which was great because we've been married for 12 years now, and we've been together for almost 17, which is just so crazy. But I have wanted, everybody that listens to this podcast knows, I've wanted a Mexican black king snake for probably close to 17 years. And our friends with No Drama Llama Pet Shop, our friend Lily, surprised me. Apparently, they've known about it for forever.
I've known about it since before it laid eggs.
And so I got it that day. But I also, look at the Grant Wallaby. He's so sweet. If you can't see it, I do apologize because
Shawn is playing with his wallaby, and that's not a euphemism for anything. He has
darling.
A wallaby.
He was chirping at me.
So I got my Mexican, which it's the thing. It doesn't even fit in the palm of my hand, curled up. It's so little.
But it is eaten.
It did eat and it shed, and it's even more gorgeous now. Alana is a sneaky girl, and she kept it hidden from me. Never even let on that such a gift existed. And then she has hidden James's cherry head redfoot tortoise that I got for him. I bought it back in Conroe in June, and she's been holding it for me until now.
Yes. And as soon as we get paid, I'm ordering some lights for Ryan McVeigh for it.
Yeah.
UV lights.
So we both got dream animals in one weekend and didn't even realize that we didn't realize really we were getting gifts. We knew each other were getting gifts. So
that was really cool.
And then I also, JT, so John Grant, who didn't get to come, unfortunately, but he sent another awesome thing for me. I finally picked up my 5th species of sand boa.
Oh, yeah.
I've been wanting a captive born Saharan sand boa, and he had a customer that had some, and I finally got one. Super excited. I got to get it to eat, so I'm going to have to clean a pinky and rub it up against your leopard gecko.
I'm cool with that. She'll probably look at you like you've lost your damn mind, and she may try to eat the pinky. So true. You might want to thaw out 2.
But I'm now at 5 species of sand boa, which I'm super excited about because Saharans are cool because they lay eggs. For anybody that doesn't know, they lay a goofy ass looking wax paper like egg that hatches in about 14 days. And they're also the snake that so many people post on Kenyan sand boa groups going, look at my Kenyan sand boa. And then they get crushed and everybody goes, yeah, it's a Saharan sand boa because the pet store just sold you a random sand boa, which will not happen at the HERPS. So what is the official name of your shop?
HERPS Exotic Reptile and Pet Shop.
HERPS Exotic Reptile and Pet
HERPS Shop. We have herpshop.net.
Herpshop.net.
Yep.
So you have the HERPS Exotic Reptile and Pet shows and the HERPS Exotic Reptile and Pet shop.
Yep.
Gotcha. So, but yeah, that was our anniversary weekend. Came home with 3 animals. Oh wait, Joe came home with
death fainting beetles.
Yeah, death fainting beetles, which is better than coming home with a frog. She could have come home with a frog.
I tried so hard.
Shawn tried very hard to get the Samsons to give her a frog. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Frogs live right around the corner, so she can just go visit them whenever she wants.
But so, anyways, I was back to our question about keeping more than. So the reason this question originally came up was actually both questions kind of stem from the same thing. I was listening to the Reptile Fight Club podcast, and they had our buddy Bill Bradley on, and they were debating the idea of the Invisible Ark, which Shawn and I have talked about before, from the Barkers, the Invisible Ark. well, Shawn, do you want to explain the concept of the Invisible Ark?
Basically, the concept, it talks a lot about plants actually, but like we are the keepers of. Basically, we're the keepers of the conservation of these animals to keep them from going extinct. And the Invisible Ark is the group of hobbyists and breeders and conservationists and educators that breed animals in captivity, and it goes from the person who has 2 leopard geckos to zoos. And it goes into a lot of the animal rights stuff about, that they don't want us to keep these things, but we're basically the conservators of making sure these animals stay on our planet. And like I said, it touches all bases, but it's one of my favorite books, and I think I found another copy that's signed too from Tracy and Dave that I might auction off at some point. But I don't think you can find it anymore on Amazon. I'll ask Tracy if she has any more copies, but if you haven't got a chance to read The Invisible Ark, you have to. It's definitely one that you'll read more than once.
Yeah.
But it really, really kind of opens up your mind as to what our role is in making sure that we keep doing what we're doing. So that's the best way I can explain it.
There's one on Amazon. There's one in paperback.
You found one?
Would you like to know how much it costs?
It's
$130.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
I was going to say, I imagine it's expensive.
Is it signed?
Oh, but this one...
Probably not. That happened a lot with...
This one is $300, $292 to be exact.
Yeah.
So I found a second one.
See, that happened with the complete... Or no, it was whatever the original Red Tail Boa book was before we made the second edition. The first edition ended up like people were selling it for like $500. I was like, no one was buying it at $500, but because it was no longer in print, someone was like, I'll sell it for $500. But I do need to get a hold of that book at some point and read it. The Invisible Ark. But I was listening to Reptile Fight Club, and they had on Bill Bradley and they had Casey Cannon, and they were arguing this concept of the Invisible Ark, and if we really are doing it. And I saw both sides. I saw the argument against the fact that we're not really doing an Invisible Ark, because in reality, the shit that we have growing in our reptile rooms, none of that's ever getting released into the wild. If it goes extinct in the wild, they're not coming to Shawn's house, knocking on his door and go, hey, can I get some of whatever it is? It's just not happening. But the thing,
actually, they could with axolotls and things like the Kaiser newts and things like that. So when you're dealing with like ball pythons, maybe not so much, but when you're dealing with animals that are critically endangered, that's not above. I mean, that could happen. You could actually help with a breeding program to go release those animals.
They talked about axolotls.
Well, yeah. Well, 2 years ago, there was an issue with some frogs that lived in this one waterfall. And these kids were out catching them and stuff and selling them in the pet trade. Well, a couple of breeders got together and started breeding them, and then they started releasing them back, and the populations have recovered. So it's not that hard to believe that it could happen. Axolotls are one of those things that, actually could, but I think with the issue with axolotls is the pollution in the water where they're originally from.
Yeah, and it's their argument against, because I actually brought up axolotls, and the argument, I think Casey was on the opposing side. The argument Casey Cannon had for it was, you've got these ones that have been altered with jellyfish DNA, so now they glow. You have these albino ones. You have all these different morphs and these things that have been bred over and over together to get certain colors. And the idea that genetically these are not the prime example of what we would want to release into the wild.
No, but you still have wild types, and those genes, except for the GFP stuff, those genes with the melanoids and all that stuff, that actually those existed in the wild before we started messing with them. And
I agree. And what I saw and then he was also talking, you could go like carpet pythons. Look at our jungle carpet pythons now. Jungle carpet pythons in the United States in captivity, being bred, these bright yellow and black snakes are not what wild jungle carpet pythons look like. Not even close. They're not highlighter yellow in the wild. So the argument part that I saw from Bill's side when he argued for it was, okay, so maybe we're not breeding to re-release things into the wild, but maybe I can't stop the palm plantations
Mhm.
in Asia, and I can't stop them from wiping out populations of whatever it may be in those areas. But I can breed this one species of snake or lizard or tortoise at my house so that for future generations, if somebody wonders what that is, we still have it. It may not be, and I can't save the land in Borneo, but I can save this one species in captivity. So if somebody wonders what it looked like, we still have that species.
Yeah,
and
that
argument, I totally got behind.
Well, and that's the core of the book. That's actually the core of the book. I mean, that's what it's really about. And you summed it up perfectly there. So, for someone to say that we shouldn't do it or we're not doing it it seems pretty blind to me. I mean, obviously there are certain animals that we have a proliferation of that we still breed. I mean, there's still people that import ball pythons that's because they're looking for those certain genetics, that crazy, weird, one of a kind thing. But that's all for monetary. If you like, we talked about this a few episodes ago about making it a business. Well, there's a business side, but there's a lot of people like I see myself and a lot of other people that I know that really want to keep this stuff around for future generations. That's why the Kaiser Newt thing was so important to me, so I can see both sides, but I still, you can't argue with me and tell me that it's not a good thing to have the animals around,
I agree. And I'm not getting off topic, but just one thing, my roommate from college, Kevin, logged on and just said hi. And I just want to say hi to Kevin. I love my roommate from college. And
Kevin, your roommate is a fucking douchebag, Kevin.
Oh, he knows. He was colorblind. It was so much fun to do shit with him when he was colorblind. But so back to the Invisible Ark. So this whole idea again was the concept that genetically we may not be doing it, but I think doing something is better than doing nothing.
Well,
I think that is
still, but there are still purists that keep wild type lines alive.
Yes,
there are. So, and I think there's a space for both of those people. So,
and so again, this question again, do you keep only one type? I think a lot of that just stems down to the person. I can't keep one type of snake. That's just, I can't do that. I get too bored. So I keep.
I think a lot of it has to do with what you're comfortable keeping and what you're comfortable making sure that your husbandry is, right on.
Yes.
I work with a lot of arid species. I can't keep fish, like for real, cannot keep fish. I'm not great at frogs. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm not great at that, but amphibians and things like that, like some of the newts and stuff I've worked with before for a while, but I like arid desert species, whether it's snake or lizard or tortoise or anything like that, I mean, there's some of the most beautiful things are from the tropics, but it's just I don't know. It's what I've known for so long, dealing with like leopard geckos and things like that, and bearded dragons before, and like hognose and stuff like that. That's just what I'm more adept at, if that makes sense. So I think all people get in a comfort zone and they're thinking, if I add something different, am I going to fuck it up? Am I going to kill it? So people just kind of stay with what they want. I mean, I've kept a lot of different things, but the majority is, like I said, has been arid species. So,
well, and this question kind of goes back to another episode of Reptile Fight Club. I really like that podcast, but where they talk about monocultures, and you know this because you've got breeders that breed just ball pythons, and they've got tons of them. And I think, and don't get me wrong, I talk shit about them also, but I think that sometimes people give them a hard time for keeping one species, whether it be just doing leopard geckos or just doing ball pythons. But if that is the thing you like, then there's no reason you should go out and keep corn snakes. Like that's not, it just shouldn't happen, So I get that side of people going, look, I like one thing and that's it. I like boas. I keep fairly a variety of boas. But I've got corn snakes and I've got pine snakes and I've got some lizards. I got my tortoises. I'm a reptile person. I like reptiles in general, but I do know there are things that I can't keep. I think crebos are really cool. I think indigos are really cool, but I know that a large colubrid that eats a ton and shits a ton more does not fit into my wheelhouse of being able to take care of an animal.
Yeah. Well, and your limits and what you're comfortable with. So, but like you said, you enjoy certain things, and that's what, if I'm never against branching out and trying something new if you want to, not just because, like we bred leopard geckos for so long, and we bred a lot of freaking leopard geckos, but we loved it. We loved the odds and learning the genetics and dealing with all that, babies screaming at you when you open the tub. That was all fun for us. It wasn't just a job or anything. It was a lot of fun. So I've gotten an opportunity now where I'm branching out, but I'm only doing a couple of things, here and there. I'm not going into, I'm breeding stuff right now, or working on breeding stuff right now that I enjoy, and in small groups. And that's about it. I'm not trying to produce enough animals to either sell at my own shop or wholesale out to other people. That's not what I'm looking for. There's certain things that I really just enjoy interacting with. So I stick with those.
Well, and you've seen it. You've seen people that come in and they breed one species, and then eventually they get something else. Like it happens with most people. There may be one or two things that they see and they're like, I want to try that. Yeah. And it happens. But I'm the older, less argumentative side of me says keep whatever the fuck you want to keep, as long as you're keeping it right. I don't care.
Yep.
So with that question, I lead to this question, and I asked this question, and the replies I got were kind of what I expected, but they weren't my original intent of the question. So I'm going to read the question. I'm going to read some of the replies, and then I'm going to give the intent of my question, and then we can discuss it there, because I really want to discuss this with you. So the question was, what are your thoughts on a reptile keepers association with strict guidelines, such as record keeping, regulated keeping standards, and even home visits to be part of certain breeding programs? So the answers got a mixed review. There were many that I felt were going to be like, I don't want the government getting in on this, which I never mentioned in the question. It was never government related. But so old Heidi Jack, either Heidi or Jack, I imagine Jack. It's online. I imagine Heidi. Never mind.
Heidi.
Bad idea unless it's down to very basics. There are too many variables. It would be silly to regulate things like the kind of substrate to use. What works for one may not work for someone else. Maybe for super basic things like safe enclosures, basic temps, etc. But even those can be variable in design and function. It would be all about opinions at that point, which I definitely want to touch on when we get into the discussion, because those are very good points, and they were things I definitely wanted to touch on that kind of got overlooked, I guess, by the question. This one, Maria said, if you haven't been to Colorado, and I've actually heard about this one. If you haven't been to Colorado, hop on any one of those pages and ask about PACFA or PACFA.
Oh God,
they're a pain in the ass, power hungry group that doesn't know shit about the reptile or what is best for them, but we have to keep according to their rules. And that was kind of my idea behind this question, was not a group like that. I know that group is, and I remember hearing about them and the pain in the ass they are to deal with. But my group was not to have a group of people that are outside of the hobby trying to regulate the hobby. So I definitely want to touch on that one too. Darren Watson said, I'm all for it. If you're allowed to keep what you are wanting, including venomous, and if there was a national standard, however, I don't believe it is something that state and federal lawmakers would agree on. I'm even willing to take it a step further and make venomous training mandatory. I'm again, the whole point for this was not to be federal or state lawmakers. Yeah. It was not to be a law thing, but I agree. LaVista just wanted to comment. She actually has no opinion on this. She just wanted to weigh in because she wanted to comment. Ryan Cox says it seems good on paper, but shit in practice, or you'd lose control or the wrong person gets power. I've had people tell me about that. I've got ideas for that one too. Drew Schulz, who is doing an awesome job with, I need to make it up to his spot. He's up near Conrad.
I have it scheduled for a weekend. We gotta
get there.
Gotta get to that weekend. But our family will be making a trip.
We're gonna try to go the Thursday before Conroe.
Yeah, I want to check out Drew's place. But he said, I think it's a good idea, particularly for certain animals, venomous, crocodilians, large monitors, constrictors. But I have a hard time believing it will ever happen or be powerful enough that there won't be people who ignore them and do whatever they want, which I fully agree with there. I was trying to find some of the other ones. Jason Miloradovich said, horrible idea. Oftentimes people paid to police the keepers aren't taught a single thing about the animals being kept. I believe it is more about the income generated from certifications and inspections. Once it starts, it's too easy to add more rules and take money away from the much harder or away, but much harder for us to get them back. I agree. Again, not the direction I was going, but I totally agree. Those are good points. Nathan Barreto says, sounds like an HOA.
I saw that comment. That was greatness.
That's pretty good. I get that. I was trying to see something with Todd Autry. I'm with Darren. Sadly, it shouldn't have to be this way, but I think it is time for stricter regulation. So most of them were this way. There were many of them that were against it because they did not want people in power who didn't know what they were talking about to be able to step in and control things.
Okay, so before you get started,
go ahead.
I'm putting this out there that I'm putting a cap on this conversation.
Okay, she's not. Anyways,
you have 30 minutes.
That's not gonna
to get on this soapbox.
It's not a soapbox. It's an idea that I want to have an open forum.
Meaning you do not have the end all be all conversation.
None of it is an end all be all. I know. I'm going to explain what my question was because it definitely got taken in a direction I did not expect.
And what your intents were behind it.
I could have told you
your thought process, because I love you and I can't fix the dog. I don't know what to do.
Get our kitty go downstairs.
Josephine, go downstairs.
There we go.
I could have told you before you posted that what the response was.
Oh my goodness!
All right. So before we get into, I will explain the intent behind the question.
I'm pretty sure I understand your intent.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I just want everybody to understand. I was not saying there needs to be a mandatory group that governs reptile keepers. That was not the intent. This would be completely voluntary, and the idea really came from the concept of being able to work with zoos. So zoos, the larger ones, the better ones, are ruled by the AZA, and you can agree or disagree with the AZA in the way they work, but it is the government, the body of government that zoos have. It is what it is, and the AZA has a board and has certain standards that zoos have to follow. As keepers, we tend to be looked as the redheaded stepchild when it comes to animal care. That zoos and other educated people know better about the animal than keepers, which, as most of us know, is just not true in some cases. There are many keepers, just homegrown keepers, keeping stuff at their house that could do such an amazing job at breeding and keeping and care of a species, but they're not looked at that way because they're a private keeper. So my idea behind this was if we could put together some sort of keeper group and did it for a couple of years, and then you could go to the AZA, go to these zoos and go, look, this is what we've put together. These are the members of our group. This is our standards. This is what we've done. Then maybe we could slowly work our way into those circles with the zoos and be able to have access to some of those animals, some of those hard to breed reptiles and amphibians that, yes, the zoos are having a hard time breeding it, but this guy in his garage in the middle of Massachusetts or whatever is able to do it. You just got to give him a chance.
But you're naive to think that zoos don't buy from private breeders.
No, I know it does. But I also know that a lot of stuff on paper doesn't actually get put on paper.
Well, and those zoos are not looking at how they were bred or kept. They're looking at dollar signs. That's where this all leads to. Is you're going to have an organization that oversees everyone's basic care and the standards and practices of their care. And going to the AZA and things like that is going to come down to how much money can those zoos make off of us.
But for me, it was also to give a group that has a little more legitimacy when it comes to talking to lawmakers and getting involved. So here's how I kind of had it. The idea is that you would have a board of several people, because I've been asked multiple times, well, who would make these rules? Who would make these laws? But first, the rules don't, if you break a rule, it doesn't mean you have to give up your animal. That's not what I was saying. Is a voluntary to be in this, to be part of being able to trade animals back and forth, you would have to meet certain requirements. But the board would be full of, vets and keepers from the hobby and excuse me. And maybe like US Ark and someone like yourself who has seen it from the show side. That kind of board who can use common sense, which I know is not overly common, but can use common sense to form these kind of regulations. And I'm not talking strict regulations like you must keep this snake on this bedding at this temperature. That's stuff that I fully am aware should be up to the keeper. But I think there are things that we can all agree. I think it's more about the things that we can agree that are not good versus the things that we all agree individually are good.
But logistically, writing that list of regulations that you're calling them would be an absolute nightmare and a waste of time and energy. Because first of all, I guarantee you, I don't think you'd have anybody volunteer to join that. Just saying, from a private keeper who's seen both sides of it, I think that it's for most people, we already have animal rights people coming after us, and any inkling of a change in law that you see in any ordinances or anything causes a complete upheaval. So trying to govern how people keep their own animals in the privacy of their own home, I think you're going to get so much pushback for that. I see what you're saying. There was an organization that tried to get started a few years ago called the TZA, the Texas Zoological Association. And I actually signed up and joined for that. But they had a board and it went absolutely nowhere because nobody wanted to be a part of it. Because, again, you're talking about somebody coming in your house and telling you, hey, that's temperature is 5 degrees off of what it should be. Well, it still may work for that person. You know what I'm saying? And I know what you're saying about maybe the bad things, but there's a lot of people in this community that will argue about what's good and bad for a reptile, and they actually both could be right. And so I think that you'd step into a huge pile of shit with that, honestly. And I'm not saying it's not a good idea, but I think that it would never be feasible, simply because there's so much regulation already on us as a reptile keeper, and we're always waiting for that next ban to come around the corner, that nobody wants to be held accountable for, hey, this is what you should be doing the right way. I'm telling you, the list would be miles and miles and miles long that you would have to write and tell people, hey, this is what the board decided that's the right substrate. I know you said no substrate, but you're saying, okay, no substrate, none of this, but what would you regulate? You have to be in PVC, you have to be in wood, you have to be in racks, you have to have this much space per animal. That's where you can't really just say it's not about that. But if you think about it and you start writing rules, that's where it's going to lead to. You're going to have these regulations because zoos have to follow certain guidelines with spacing and food and diet and things like that. So you'd be walking along that same line, and the Zoological Association is never going to accept you in because you're not going to be making them money, pretty much.
I get that. I feel like we've got to start policing ourselves some way, and there's got to be some internal organization.
I don't think there needs to be an organization. I think that people need to stop being so fucking passive about it. And if you see somebody that's out of line, call them out or go to them and say, hey, I think I could help you do this better. And if they don't agree, then let them burn their own bridges with you. We see it at shows all the time where I'm going to tables to tell people, hey, that animal doesn't look quite right. And they may think it looks fine. I'm tired of hearing, oh, it's just dehydrated from the trip. That's bullshit. If an animal doesn't look healthy and it's not presentable, it doesn't need to be on a table, period. So when we go in the show route, that's one thing. What people keep in their own private collections, you never know. You could have an animal that just starts crashing. Okay, just for example, you have an animal that starts crashing, losing weight after laying a clutch of eggs or giving birth or whatever, and it looks horrible. What's to stop this organization from coming in just one day and saying, hey, we're doing a house inspection and looking and saying you're mistreating that animal, even though you've been taking it to the vet and treating it and things like that. So I think that in a private setting, I don't think it would work.
So do you think, the other branch of this I thought were aimed towards shows, certain requirements for shows to be listed as, given a gold star. This show meets this criteria, and obviously we know certain shows that would not meet that criteria.
Yeah, but see, you never know because there's good vendors at even bad shows. So it'd be hard to say don't go to that show because they don't follow this guideline. There's people that bring animals to my shows, and you know how stickler I am, and half the time I can't see the animals. I rely on either my son Peyton now, or I rely on other vendors saying, hey, something doesn't look right about that table. Or I've had customers come to me. Finally, customers have started coming to me because instead of waiting for a week later and then posting a negative review about the show, say, hey, I don't think that's right. We had Corpus Christi. We had a perfect example. There was a fire skink that was on a table. It was going through a bad shed. The vendor sprayed it down, misted it down in the cup to help it shed better. Well, it looked like the skin was dyeing the paper towel brown. It looked like, when I looked up at first, it looked dead, and it looked like it just shit everything all over the enclosure. But as I walked up on it and opened the lid and looked, now this was behind the table. This wasn't on the table. They saw it behind the table. I went and looked at the animal, opened the lid. It's perfectly fine. They just misted it down to help it shed. But again, I had a customer come to me. If they wouldn't have come to me, they probably would have posted on Facebook, hey, there was a dead animal at the HERPS show. It's never at this vendor's table. It's at the HERPS show. You know what I'm saying? So there's no really, like, we as promoters ourselves and have to be accountable for what vendors we let in, but other vendors and the vendors themselves need to be held accountable. And I think we've put a lot of pressure on people, and they understand that we're not going to take someone that just mistreats their animals.
Well, I agree.
But there are certain shows that don't care because they're thinking about the dollar bill, but there are also good vendors at those shows.
There are, but I'm still saying, I think we need to be able to say this show is
I think show
certified.
Promoters. Well, yeah, I think show promoters should just start banning the people who are just constantly causing issues like that. They need to be blacklisted.
And I don't think it should be you mess up one time, you're out. I definitely think it's like a 3 strikes you're out kind of system. If it becomes a repetitive thing, you are the issue. And so I just think, go ahead.
The show promoters actually talk about this, like behind the scenes. Like, we talk about vendors that are problem vendors all the time, and we see issues that come up between shows that that do all of the shows, vendors that do all the shows. So there are certain things that it's hard. How big the shows are, and you've seen how hard it is to walk around and see everything. It's impossible. We try to, but we're always so busy that having someone to take a look at that stuff. Now, I've got Peyton working for me now, and part of his job is to walk around the shows when he's not helping other people, is to look at the tables and look at animals and tell me if he sees something that's not right. But I've gotten to where I've gotten vendors to actually open up to me and say, hey, something doesn't look right on that table, and that's what we need to do. But the show promoters need to stand up and say this vendor shouldn't be allowed at any shows. Stop letting them in.
They need show promoters, and it's very hard for someone just starting out, but over time they need to be like you. They need a network of their vendors who can help police the show for them. Which
it's not their job. It's not the vendor's job. I'm not asking vendors to do that.
But a vendor, if a vendor wants to come to your show and vend a show, they're vending your show because of the quality of your show, and they're going to want your show to remain that level of quality. And in order to remain that level of quality, you can't just go, oh well, I'll have a table next to this guy. His stuff looks like shit, so I'll sell more of my stuff. That may be true, but that doesn't help the show overall, because now people are just going to remember that table.
It helps that vendor's pocketbook, and that happens a lot more than you think.
And I think that some sort of way for shows to be certified as good or whatever would help, especially newer people in the show, because in the hobby.
But who's in charge of certifying that? And who's going to agree on who to elect to certify the shows? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I know it couldn't be one person. None of this could ever be done by one person, because then it wouldn't be fair.
It would be too political.
But I think people coming into the hobby go to some of these lesser quality shows not knowing any better, because there's nothing out there saying just be careful when going to the show, because you need to watch out for these things.
Well, and I tell people, I still tell people to this day, go to every show. I'm not going to tell people not even go to the crappy shows, because again, there are good vendors that do those shows, that do our shows too, and I want them to be successful and make money. Now, the customer should buy from those people. Yes, I get it. But that's the hard thing about our business, is I'm not against any of the other show promoters. I do my own thing, and Lori and I have talked about this at length about how we just focus on what we're doing. I won't hesitate to tell people, hey, don't buy from that person, but I'm not going to tell people, hey, don't go to that show. Because like I said, there are vendors that do those shows that rely on those shows too, to feed their families. And the more customers they have, the better chance that person has to make money. That's the hard thing that a lot of people don't see as promoters too. But as other vendors, is that we want them to be successful whatever they're doing, not just our shows. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say, hey, don't go to that show. I think that's where you're like, I mean, honestly, we know the bad shows that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that information's out there. And if someone's naive enough not to know or find that information, let them learn the hard way and let them go themselves. That's the only way most people will actually realize it. But they may go there and find the perfect snake and think it's the best show that they've ever been to. They don't see, they have blinders onto the rest of what else is going on. So my thing is just let's focus on making our shows better and keeping our quality up and making sure our vendors are doing the right thing and bring on new vendors and maybe that'll spread that way instead of blackballing. Now, there's certain people in the hobby that I think should not be vending and should not be allowed to vend any shows. But again, that's that promoter's that's up to them. It's not up to me.
And I think it's important to remember, and if this has been mentioned before, I apologize. I know I keep popping in and out. Highly recommend do not take a double dose of a medication on accident because it doubles your chances of horrible side effects.
Hey, it's been running to the pooper like every 5 minutes on that.
I mean, thanks for that, Shawn. Yeah.
Lori said, sounds like me.
I'm dying. I thought I was popping 2 Tylenol and it was actually 2 antibiotics, and you shouldn't do that.
So what was your okay?
Anyways,
back to your point.
My point was we're never going to make everybody happy.
No.
Ever. I'm sure that, so for example with the HERPS Family Foundation, we have a board, which on my to-do list is actually to get together with the board. Every time we talk about each other,
we actually talked about it this weekend because I had Peggy there. So Corey's going to be reaching out to you about that.
Okay, great. But my thought is, you have a board and then the board goes from there, and whatever decisions the board makes, not everyone is going to be happy with, but that was the board that was put in place. And so, and because I have a zoo background, and because I have, if you've ever worked at a zoo, you know what an accreditation year is like. And so,
miserable.
You cringe when you hear that word. And so, there's that. Corey says to call her Shawn. So make a note to call Corey.
Okay. I'm not watching the chat. Sorry.
That's fine. I just saw it in the chat. That's why I figured I'd tell you to call her. So you have a board that makes those decisions. And so I guess the question would be is how do you get that board in place? And like Shawn said, that's where it becomes political, because people are not going to be likely to vote in someone that they don't know. People in the reptile community don't know me off the street. So if I were to run to be on that board, then, I'd really have to put myself out there to to explain why. Whereas, if Justin Kabilka is the first name that popped in my mind, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what the man breeds.
That's not true. That's not true. 100% he breeds. What
the ball pythons. Okay. So that's just because he's the first name that popped into my mind. But a lot of people know his name. So if he were to go out for something, they'd be more likely. So you have different people that run in different circles that run in multiple circles. And I don't know. I feel like it's a catch-22 where we're all stuck between a rock and a hard place. My problem I find with the argument against, and it's not just this, with many things in the hobby is difficulty. People don't want to do something that's difficult or that it's new or that it may not work. And it may not work. I just don't think not working is not a reason to not try. A lot of things go through different stages until they do work sometimes. And I think when you're talking about a board for something reptile related, it does have to be a very broad one. It can't be a whole bunch of people that win the HERPS shows. Like that obviously couldn't be a board for the hobby. It's great for the HERPS Family Foundation. That was just my example.
But no, I understand. But it's not great for the hobby. I think it has to be, honestly, someone like Kabilka would be great on a hobby-wide board. And do you get like one person from each state? No. Do you or do you? Even if you had a name like Kabilka, you'd have people that don't agree with his practices either. That's correct. That is true. So that's what I'm saying is it's such a broad subject that you're never going to be able to get down to
where everyone's like, okay, that's fine, I'll join and I agree to those terms. It's never going to happen because you may have 100 things on there, and one person says, I don't like that rule. I don't want to think that should be, and they're not going to join. I'm telling you, the TZA tried it. It was a complete failure.
And I'm gonna be honest. We can't even get people to fucking join ARK, US ARK.
Yeah, I mean, people haven't even joined US ARK. And so I'm thinking that any more regulation like that, I just think you're going down the wrong rabbit hole with that.
Well, and because if you think about it, when we were zookeepers, well, you were a zookeeper. I worked at the zoo. I was part of the staff, the education staff. We had the AZA, but then there was also like the zookeeper group or whatever.
There's a couple of them.
But like hardly any of us ever joined that one because we're like, no, we work here. We're fine. Like, I don't know. Like,
that's different. I mean, that's US ARK. I don't see why anybody hasn't joined it. Now, who was it in the podcast? Someone was talking about they hadn't joined US ARK, but a portion of their sales go to US ARK, and that's fine. I mean, I still think join them, get your free T-shirt, but as long as you're giving in some way or form to them, I forget what the number is, and I've got to get Phil Goss on here, but the number of people that own reptiles versus the number of people that actually are members of US ARK just makes you want to vomit every time you see the disparity in that number.
Well, and a lot of people, here's the thing is a lot of people that don't join, a lot of what I've heard is because they are like, what's my money doing? They don't understand the ins and outs every single day of what Phil and that team are working on. Until something pops up. When something pops up, then they're like, oh, that's cool because I keep your ticks. I could care less if there's a ball python ban in Wilson County, Texas. They don't give a shit. So, I mean, if that's part of the reason, I guarantee you. And part of it's their ego too. I mean, it's just, I mean, honestly, they're only about how much money they make, not how much money they give back. If it affected them personally, then maybe they would see it. But that's the biggest deal is it's not affecting them personally. It's not hitting their pocketbook, so they could care less. What they don't understand is it's going to affect everybody's pocketbook if we don't keep joining and we don't keep recruiting and we don't keep paying these attorneys to do all the dirty work, because those guys work their asses off.
And it's nothing. I mean, if you own one reptile, literally there's several different steps you can join and be members. There's the one where you can do $5 a month, which honestly, you probably would not recognize losing $5 a month. You probably lose that in change throughout a month. There is the $40 a year, which I still don't understand how they make any money off of that because you get a T-shirt. Like, and T-shirts aren't cheap. I know they're getting a lot of them, but still, it's $40. That's the one I don't get. If I forget that it's an insane number of people that own reptiles, but if just 1 million people gave $40 a year,
well, and
$40 million.
I need to renew my membership, but every time I see Phil, I give him money. I mean, at NERBC, we donate stuff, and we used to do auctions for US ARK, but I actually do need to redo my my membership. I haven't renewed it yet.
I got to renew mine. Mine just ran up last month.
NERBC, I gave him like $500 to as a donation. So, I know I need to renew it. Like Lori's on my ass now about renewing, but I mean, I've actually talked to several people. Like, I can't remember who I was just talking to. Maybe Russ or somebody else. We were talking about trying to get Phil to come back to Conroe and set up and do all that. And the part of the problem is that they're so busy. They do just a few shows a year. I'd love to have Phil come and set up it. And Phil and I talk. I mean, I've bounced ideas off Phil, and I've talked to Phil about it, and it's not for lack of wanting to. It's just it's time and team and things like that. So
it'd be really cool to see him to be able to do a table there for like a membership drive. If you could get,
I would love to do that.
Coming through the door, just go. Look, it's $40, and we'll send you a T-shirt, and you can feel good about yourself.
You know what? I know some of our vendors at the HERPS show have high school age children that need volunteer community service hours for some of their classes.
That's true. It's a good idea.
I'm just saying.
They got with Phil, maybe Phil could send like a banner and all, and they could set up and they could do a membership drive.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
That'd be cool.
I could work with him. I could reach out to him and see if that'd be something.
That could also. I'm thinking down the road because we got Turtle Project first, but I'm thinking down the road. I know a Girl Scout that can do this too.
Yeah, I'm excited
do the Turtle
about that.
Project first.
But yeah, like
I'm super excited about that.
If there was a table with a banner and like little whatever pamphlets they have, and like show the shirt, look, this is what you get for $40, or it's like $250 and then $500. I think is the next move, whatever it is.
1,000.
$1,000.
Because in reality, everybody that walks through the door that leaves with something needs to join USR.
100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, 100%. They really do.
And look, you could either have them sign up for the $5 a month and they go that route. Maybe put a little computer there and they can sign up and they can do it right then and there. That's the big thing, is getting them to do it then and there.
Then there. Not think about it and do it later.
But
breeders and vendors at shows need to be, and I would love for someone that's not a member, never has been a member, that vends shows and breeds, to tell us why and give us one good reason why they are not there. Nobody will. They'll be called out for it. I don't want to call them out for it. I just want to know what the excuse is. And I would love to see someone say, this is exactly why I won't join USR. I want to see it.
That's what kills me is, and I've seen the arguments online before about where does my money go. They're
it's public knowledge.
They show it. You can find it.
Yeah, you can go on their website and see what the money goes to. They're a nonprofit. It's public information.
You know, Phil gets his paycheck. Well, that's one thing I've seen people bitch about what Phil gets paid. That dude works his ass off so that you can own your one ball python. So calm down.
Real. Like all the time, Phil's doing something. He's one of the busiest men I know. So, and he's always one of the most helpful people. If I message him right now and say, hey, I have an issue with somebody in Florida or something like that, he'll give me the information or find somebody who does and send them to me. Like and you know, maybe it's, I don't know. It's not just me. He'll do it to you. If anybody has an issue, if you message Phil, once he gets around to it, he'll actually give you an answer. He's there to help. You know what I'm saying? He does so much. I'd love if anybody had a reason why they wouldn't.
Morph Market now has this thing where if you're a member, what?
I need to reach out to John tomorrow for sure. I've been
John Lehman, yeah. Well, he has a thing where if you're a member of US Ark, your little storefront gets a badge.
That's cool.
on Morph Market, which is kind of cool. You can see people that you're buying from.
I know everybody was posting, oh, I'm a gold member, oh, I'm platinum. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't care. You can,
as long as you're a member, you're a member.
If you're a bronze member, you're the most important person in my day, honestly. Like, or if you donate $5 out of your pocket and some change and put it, give it to them when you see them at one of the shows, that's perfectly fine because it adds up and it helps. So I've seen US Ark in action work to help people that I personally know. And that's not, I was a member before then and donating before then, but I've actually seen it in action, and it's amazing to see. And for people who have never seen it before, it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Yes.
Did we talk about how much money they raised in Daytona for US Ark? Have we talked about that yet?
I don't even know.
Did you see it?
Yes, Rob. It was like
Rob Christian posted.
I want to say it was like I'm not logged into Facebook on this computer because it's my school computer. I want to say it was like $17,000 or something.
I can imagine.
Like astronomical.
They used to raise
and it was,
insane
but it
more
may
than
have been more than that. It may have been like.
At any RBC in Arlington, I think the most we've seen is like $40,000 raised.
Yeah,
it was insane.
But and now it told me that I entered an old password, so I got nothing.
You said it's on Rob's Facebook,
but it's on Rob's. Yeah, he shared it because he was down there this weekend.
I'll look it up. But yeah, it's
a big post with like a green background, I think.
So US Ark is the closest thing we have to a group that really to help, but it's not anything about regulations or making sure.
Exactly.
They keep us functioning.
Yes.
I watch so much stuff going on in the hobby that I'm wondering what that breaking point is that we can't come back from on negative shit happening.
Well, I think if you try to get something together to start regulating people, that would probably break fucking people.
It was green. You're not going to miss it. It's like a big post.
Okay, let me scroll down. There it is.
It was black.
It was $117,000.
Oh, wow.
I was off.
I was about to say 17,000. Like, wow.
Yeah, 70,000 didn't seem like a lot.
I didn't, and that's why I was like, no, it's more than that. $117,000 this weekend.
That's really cool.
Which is great. And that auction, I've been to the Daytona auction before. It is there are definitely things there that someone like me can afford to try and win at some of those. But those auctions they're not really for me to bid, but they are great to go to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Conroe auction, I wasn't going to beat the front row of people at the Conroe auction. But it was a lot of fun to watch them bid.
I got a fish.
You did get a fucking fish.
And he's doing so well.
Yeah.
I got a thong.
Yeah, that was scary.
Unfortunately,
That was
I remember
scary. That was so scary.
Your children are scarred.
I felt so bad for your daughter.
Yeah.
She had to watch. Oh, God.
Yeah. Not one of my proudest moments, but we did raise a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
What? Stuck in shit. We did raise a lot of money, so.
But
yeah, I think that you'd be stepping in a big pile of shit if you tried to do that. I know your intentions are good, and I get what you're saying.
My goal wasn't to regulate the hobby in a way of like it needs to be this way.
No,
but
I get
mainly to give a group that can also be because the problem right now is U.S. Ark is the only voice when there's an issue with a law.
But U.S. Ark also goes after laws that people have fucked up to cause those laws. I mean, honestly. So you're not it's not apples to apples there. U.S. Ark is the organization that helps us when something goes wrong. But you're trying to make stuff not go wrong so that you wouldn't need an organization like U.S. Ark.
I'm wanting a proactive because U.S. Ark, unfortunately, by nature, is a reactive organization.
Yes, exactly. So you want something that's proactive, but again, you're going to get in a situation where logistically it's going to be impossible for one, and you're never going to have people that want to join something like that. I get what you're saying too, is trying to get notoriety from the AZA, but unfortunately, working for zoos, you guys know the AZA's work because they make money, lots of money. They get donations. They get that. Well,
that's the reason that they always want to save elephants and gorillas, and they don't want to save a random salamander.
Exactly. Zoos are about how much money they make.
It sucks to me sometimes to watch these breeding projects where someone's like, they finally breed some species of rattlesnake that they've been trying 30 years to do, but you know that there's some dude that could have done it down the street 20 years ago, and you know he could have done it really well.
There was some. Was it that Reptile Fight Club that we listened to? Was there another podcast that we listened to that talked about this?
I don't know. Could have been. I don't know. But like, the guy that I got both of my Louisiana pine snakes from, he breeds Louisiana pine snakes better than probably any single person out there. But no one really knows about him because he's an old school dude that doesn't really have the internet. And you've got zoos that are struggling.
Putting it lightly. I'm sorry.
I know. You got zoos that were struggling to try and reproduce these things. I'm like, just give these snakes to him. He does it in this, and this is probably the area where like having regulations would not have worked because he does it in a house that he doesn't live in. It's an old like 1890s house with windows open. Like you walk into it, you're like, what the fuck?
I don't think is there electricity in that house?
He has electricity, but it's rough.
I've never been. I've been told I'm not allowed to go.
But the man can breed the shit out of some Louisiana pine snakes. And for a snake that is endangered, I'm like, that's what matters, is that he can do this.
Now, what proactively should happen is that an organization like the AZA should be open to speaking with individuals like that who have a track record of producing those animals and find out what they're doing right and what the AZA is doing wrong. So that would be the most proactive thing. But the AZA is not going to do that. Now, like I said earlier, they do buy animals from private breeders. They absolutely do buy animals from private breeders. They just have enough inventory of animals to go, around that's what they do. They'll share animals and breeding projects between zoos, but they do buy from private breeders. But that would be the most important thing. Now, if you wanted to write a big letter to, the AZA and say, hey, why don't you do this? That's probably the most proactive thing you can do. But asking private keepers and hobbyists and reptile enthusiasts to join together to follow the standards of an organization similar to AZA, I just can't see it working. I don't think it's feasible. And I may be wrong, but that's just my opinion. But I think if it was the opposite way around, you could actually get the AZA to listen and say, hey, what are you doing that we're not doing right? That would be probably a lot easier.
Yeah. But then that's my problem is the AZA looks at individual keepers as lesser in a lot of those situations, even if that person can reproduce that thing.
But AZA does, but not all zoos do.
Not zoos. No. I know zoos and many of the curators and stuff, they understand what's going on. Yep. I know in a lot of situations, though, unfortunately, AZA does tie some of their hands together on certain situations.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
But So I was looking at, I was going through, this is Chris Eaton's favorite part of the podcast, when I start scrolling through things on our Facebook page. We have like 2 weeks worth of stuff that I hadn't seen because I just kind of ignored her Facebook page. I apologize to anybody. Okay, go ahead. But there was one, Nathan Holcomb posted, it looks like a carp like in a bag, and it's just the tail hanging out. It's a video, and it's a little like ringneck snake trying to eat this adult carp tail first, and it's just chewing on the tail fins. I definitely suggest someone go find that video. It's on our Facebook page. But yeah, it's just trying to eat that. Stephen Livingston posted some pictures. He hatched some fence lizards, it looks like. They found some eggs in their sandbox, and they hatched them, and they're little fence lizards.
Cool.
Which I think are awesome, and I don't see nearly enough. I wish I saw more fence lizards.
Move to North Texas.
Gotcha. James Bergoli posted a solid white hognose. Oh, I did get... So I knew I was going to upset somebody in the group. Someone posted a picture in a identification group of a hognose, and everybody's, it's a hognose, it's a hognose. And so my response, being an asshole, I posted, I see a venomous snake, which is 100% true.
Oh, Jesus.
But someone's comment goes, it's non-venomous, it's a hognose. I was like, it's a hognose and it's venomous.
Actually.
And then he posts some Wikipedia thing that says they are not technically venomous. I'm like, so I posted some from the Venom interviews. I was like,
you don't ever bring up Wikipedia to a teacher.
That was their argument.
Fuck?
I was like, I posted this like, he goes, they are harmless. I'm like, I was like, harmless. Well, I said harmless and venomous are not the same thing. Like that's we're not coming. They're somewhat harmless and venomous all at the same time.
Stars.
But yeah, I just thought that argument was funny. Ilana posted this cool picture of a Borneo horned lizard. I've never seen that before. It looks like an anole, but with a long curly tail and a pointy nose.
I thought Eric and Elise might be working to try to produce them in captivity.
It's a weird ass looking little lizard.
If it's the same thing I'm thinking of. They have some really cool Borneo species.
Oh, I did share a horrible joke that my mom posted that I knew everybody in our group would like. It was, so I was going.
I didn't think this one was very funny. I think I disappointed you.
That's your kind of stupid humor. I figured you'd love it.
It's like I giggled, but I was like, "Man, she's posted better."
I was going to cook alligator for dinner, but I realized I only had a crock pot.
Oh, good Lord!
Yeah, his mom posts stuff like that all the time, and normally they're really funny, and like I get really tickled about them. But that one, I was like, "Man, this one's not."
That's your kind of stupid joke where you
like it.
You know, if you had said it, you'd have laughed your ass off and wondered why I wasn't laughing.
No, it's not.
This was supposed to be your episode, by the way, Lori.
It was. It's the 25th.
My big problem is my entire last week of life has been.
I'm just so tired. 3rd grade requires so much more energy than 5th grade.
This is why I'm on.
I forgot.
Yeah, this is why I'm on.
I did too. It's okay.
She failed.
She did not fail.
Do not listen to him.
True.
Do not listen to him.
You need to do it next Wednesday then.
We want to do Herps bitches. I'll get all the bitches together.
Do it next week. Do it.
Can we do it at Conroe?
No, not at Conroe. We can't do it
at Conroe. No.
Y'all need to do it next Wednesday though, or the Wednesday after, because we're going to Conroe Thursday, right? 2 weeks. Next Tuesday, our day's fucked.
All right, so if we're gonna do it,
2 weeks from this,
we gotta get
2 weeks from now is the Wednesday before Conroe.
We gotta get female keepers, female keeper vendor, whatever from Herps on here. So Katie,
is this not equivalent?
What?
To another friend of ours podcast?
No. His is Hot Chicks. That's completely different.
Oh wow, James!
I'm
gonna offend people. I'm gonna offend them because I call them bitches and not hot chicks.
Holy shit!
I'm choosing the way
You just made it sound like the her bitches are not hot chicks.
That is not what I'm saying.
I know, but that's what it sounded like.
He got attacked for using the phrase "hot bitches."
James, I think you're about to be quarantined for the next month again.
Dying over here.
Oh my God! Oh, Lori's even over here talking shit.
That you opened your mouth and inserted your foot.
Lori just talks shit. That's her natural tongue. She can't help
it. So actually, I think the Wednesday before Conroe would probably be a really good time to do it.
Will you try?
Let me try.
How are we going to do this? Are we literally just going to have like 14 people in here?
Well, that's one more than I was planning on, but
yeah, that's what I was like.
Lori said
do it from setup on Friday.
No, we can't do it Friday. It's going to be Wednesday when the podcast is. So it'd be the Wednesday before Conroe. So 2 weeks.
Right.
Lori said she'll get her Herps bitches, whatever. What do you call them?
We don't want to leave anybody out. We don't want anybody to feel left out.
I don't care if they're left out. I
I'm
don't.
feeling pressure. I need to try to get together before.
Listen, she's feeling pressure. We have so much to do. Oh my God, we have so much
Lori,
to do.
I know you do.
You have sat there while we've talked to Shawn for the last hour and a half and have basically said
No,
not
she
much.
was actually she was at the grocery store when I beat her home. She went to the store and went shopping.
Lori will be
drove.
fine.
I'm so
Everyone
proud.
listening, in 2 weeks you'll get to hear from Lori and all of the bitches. And I'm going to keep saying bitches just to offend
'Cause
people.
You enjoy being offensive.
I do. I really do.
It's a term of love.
It's a term. Yeah, you try and tell it.
Tracy said the same thing.
Yes, Tracy, I am saying the hurt bitches are not hot.
He is not
I'm
because
not
he's
saying
married
that.
to one. He knows better. He's smarter than that.
Anyways, Travis Wyman posted something in our group. So Billy,
Oh,
from,
that's cool. Yeah.
Billy from, I think it was Billy from Mutation Creation, wasn't it?
Did his
I don't know
account
who it
get
was.
hacked or some shit?
Oh no, it was Marcus James.
No, his account did
No,
not get hacked.
Marcus
Okay, I
James.
saw something about
I knew
that.
it was Canadian. Marcus James started Instagram Snakes and Snacks, which is super close
Snakes and bait.
to Snakes and Bakes, which is done by Dr. Travis Wyman.
Gotcha.
So if anybody's looking for a reptile and cooking based Instagram to follow, definitely follow Snakes and Bakes.
I feel like I need an Instagram just to follow that.
Snakes and Snacks is one, it's Canadian, so what the hell do they know?
Oh,
Two.
shut up.
Two, follow, he's a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. Follow Travis Wyman.
The albino cottonmouth was what I was talking about. I thought that's what you were bringing up.
Oh no, that was one that got posted. So
Oh, yeah.
that got posted, and I was like 40 minutes late to commenting on it. And I knew as soon as I saw it was like 40 minutes before I saw it, I was like, I'm too late. But someone near us, found an albino cottonmouth on their porch.
Yep.
And then people
Crazy
were like,
shit,
of course,
man.
someone was trying to go, it's leucistic. And I'm like, that's not fucking leucistic. It's just not.
Eyes.
Even so, I've seen leucistic
But-
animal. I think it was definitely albino.
I think Trimback has some.
Yeah,
I
he
think
does.
Yep.
Well, that was my first thought when I saw it. I was like, ooh, I can get that and get it to Shawn, but I did not.
Yep.
Travis did post nearly 100 species of frogs, toads, and salamanders were wiped out by fungus. That's chytrid. That's the horrible chytrid fungus that everybody's worried about. That's the fungus you saw was different. You saw snake fungal disease.
Actually, I want to talk about that before we wrap up tonight.
Oh.
There was an article about it in
Go ahead.
Reptiles. Oh, well, there's an article about the snake fungal disease in the Reptiles magazine. I'm sure I'm not the only one that gets the emails, but I read.
Probably
the
not. I
emails.
think in some weird scheme
I'm
to get
sure
people to read
there's
their
lots of
magazine,
people that get
they
these
sent it to
emails.
more people than you.
But I'm the one that brings it up every week when we are on the podcast. So I'm obviously
Go
the
for
only
it.
one out of the three of us that read my emails.
Go for it.
It's actually been around since like 1945. Like they are like finding evidence, like dating it back further and further. And that's as far into the.
That's as far as you got.
Look, I got the email as we started the podcast.
You were like, I really want to talk about this.
I do.
I thought you were going somewhere.
but I was not.
She was reading it on the
Cool.
printer a while ago.
I should have been. I don't play on my phone when I'm in the bathroom.
That's YouTube
I
time.
missed. I
know.
I go in. I take care of business. I come out after I wash my
That's
hands.
YouTube time.
I don't use my device in the bathroom. No.
It's the best time to use
I will
it.
read on it if I'm in the bathtub, but that's about
Ugh.
yeah. Anyways,
What a waste of pooping time.
so I go in, I take care of business, I come back. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, but I'm gonna read the article. I'll follow up. I'll share it in our discussion
Well,
board.
it's a big problem on the East Coast. It's you saw that. You saw that in Alabama.
yeah,
where we found
it was
It's horrifying, isn't it?
terrifying. I did not know. I thought just looking at it
Whoa.
that it had like
Hey,
gone through
check your whoa.
What?
Sounds like you're speaking into like a robot farting or something.
What?
I don't know. Maybe it's on your. I don't
Maybe.
Your
That might be your connection.
is
I
it
think
my
it's your
connection?
Oh no.
But you sound good on our
I
end.
say you sound great.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Oh no.
Anybody listening to us on Facebook, can you understand us?
Yeah, we've got 10 people that are still watching.
Talina's one of them.
Yeah. She's sexy as hell.
Talina.
Yeah.
She was one of the
I
ones
need
that
her fashion sense.
she was one of the ones that got bit by the hognose that weekend when the other girl got bit by the hognose.
Oh yes.
Hers wasn't nearly as bad as the other girls.
Maybe he should log out and log back in because he knows what those words mean.
Okay, you're back.
Okay, we're back.
We're good.
Okay.
Whoa, I got
Oh.
some crazy interference. Am I not?
That was weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
aliens. It sounded like a robot farting. That's all I heard.
Tracy says we're good, so it's just on your end.
But no,
It's better now.
That snake fungal disease, when I walked up on that snake, it looked like it had gone through some type of glue or adhesive and had sand stuck all over it.
Oh, wow.
That's what I thought was wrong with it. And I'm like, what is going on with this snake? And yeah, of course, I immediately called James because that's what I do when I have a snake question. And had he not answered, I would have called someone else on my list. So I have a list. I have a list of people that I call if I have reptile questions. And they know who they are because most of them have gotten questions from me.
Oh, I do want to tell Travis Wyman, and I know he won't hear this for like 3 weeks when I finally hear it.
No. He's actually like
He's up to date?
he listens more
good.
than we think.
Well, when Travis listens, fuck you, Travis.
Why? What'd he do?
Because he had me listen to this stupid ass, slippy, slimy salamander rap song.
I didn't listen to it, but I felt like it would be something I would enjoy.
Fuck, it was the dumbest shit. I hated my life for 3 minutes. Oh God, it's horrible. But anybody missed it? Tracy posted the catchies were on sale. I'm telling you right now, anybody listening to this show, if you have not bought a catchy for your reptile room, you're really missing out. That thing is amazing at catching flies.
Yeah, we have one in there. Yeah, we do.
Why don't we have
We have bug assaults.
Well, no,
Bug
it's
salts.
Mine
Have
have
you ever seen
lasers
the
on them.
fly zappers that are the tennis?
Oh yes, he has because we
Oh
used
my
them
god,
in
we used them in Oklahoma.
What?
We need like
Oh.
10,000 of them in Oklahoma.
I spent the
James?
entire weekend killing flies.
I
Jake,
watched
we had
James
one once.
all weekend do it.
Is he not the funniest thing ever?
That's great.
Oh, it was
watching him
fucking
play with it.
hilarious. He had two of them going at one time. It was just
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop. I was mesmerized.
Yeah, Katie, you missed that whole thing. There were the amount of flies. I've never seen it that bad.
Rested that
Crazy.
weekend. They're
Yeah.
like $5 at Harbor Freight. Those little
Yeah.
zappers.
Yeah,
They're
we
great.
had vendors going to get fly trapped. They had the livestock show the weekend before, and it was, oh my god, none of the fucking flies left.
Yeah, they just piled the shit up somewhere and bred flies while we were gone.
Yeah.
I'm so whatever it says Facebook user, I'm not sure who that is.
Killed
It
my
says
gecko.
James killed my gecko, so he deserves to listen to bad music every now and then.
Who the hell?
Also, hi Katie, I love you. I love you too, whoever you are.
I don't know who it is.
But I want to know what gecko you killed, you asshole.
Me too. I don't know what gecko I killed either.
I don't know.
I need them.
Jen, I'm gonna have to listen to this song. If it
Nick,
seems like something I would enjoy.
She is wrong. That song is horrible, and Travis Wyman deserves. You know what? Fuck it. Go listen to Snakes and Snacks. That's the best Instagram to follow. Fuck Snakes and Bakes. Oh, that song was. Oh, it's Kevin. My roommate. That's my
His
roommate.
roommate from
I
college.
didn't kill that gecko. That gecko formed a hole in its head.
That was a freak accident, is what that
It was a little,
was.
and I hated it. I had it. It was a golden gecko, and I had a white line gecko, and I fucking hated the white line gecko. That little golden gecko was amazing, and then like some hole formed in its head and it died like overnight. Like it was the weirdest damn thing. And then I sent the white line gecko off to Texas because I didn't want it anymore.
Yep.
Oh, our giveaway. I didn't mention our giveaway for this month.
Please.
So our giveaway this month, again, it's still August. So you got this week.
We've had some people this week that have been messaging us.
Yeah, so it's this week's left because you got until next Tuesday. It's the end of the month.
Yes.
We are paydays next. Thank God. Anyways, we are partnering with Grant Family Exotics, and Grant Family Exotics are giving away 12-inch hemostats, 12-inch feeding tongs, a large cage hook, and a field hook, all made from Shawn Trembeck at Best Exotics. All you have to do, literally, if you're listening right now, go do this. All you have to do is take a picture of you with any of your reptiles, post it on Instagram and Facebook, and put hashtag the Reptile Gumbo Podcast. That's it. Hashtag the Reptile Gumbo Podcast, and you're entered. And I think right now it's only like 5 people. So it's really good odds right now of winning this whole set of utensils.
Get it together.
Utensils. They're utensils.
Tools.
You're a tool. They're utensils.
Actually, I
That was
can't
pretty
see
fast, man. Fast response.
I can't see the chat on there. But is Robert still online?
I don't think no. I
He
think-
logged out.
Okay. All right, I'll message him. I need to find out when I can get my racks from him. I got some new racks coming from Lone Star Reptile Racks.
Yes.
Roach tub racks and a bunch of different stuff. So I'm excited.
Gina asked if she can post a pic with her guinea pig. No. The answer is no.
I mean, it's snake food.
That's true. If you post a picture of your guinea pig being
Tried to
eaten-
give me the fucking tried
No.
to give me the fucking guinea pig this weekend. No. Now she's
It's
one
the
of us. No.
cutest guinea pig I've ever
They're
seen.
cute. Yeah, they're cute. But we have fucking 4 chinchillas. Oh, no, hold on. We have 6 chinchillas now.
Whose fault is that? I don't want to hear that.
You kept picking up chinchillas in Corpus Christi like they were Halloween candy.
I got one. I got one. Last night, she tells me, hey, you know that other cage you were going to let Laura and Greg use? You need to build it. I'm like, what the fuck? They can build it? She goes, no, I got 2 more chinnies. What the fuck? There's chinchillas in my goddamn bedroom.
You have a
no, there's one of them that's already pregnant.
That's Lori's thing.
Are you about to start making like chinchilla coats?
No, I love chinchillas. We're going to use them for the interaction room. But I got great deals on. But we have 4, and we're going to
great deals.
Callie's bringing us 2 more this weekend. So, like, wow, bless her, my ass. One of the chinnies is pregnant. They're in our room. We put them in our room because we had the big house party here. They were stressing, so we put them in our room. They haven't left our room. They're keeping me up at night.
I'm going to be that person that asks that question.
What?
Are they loose in your room?
No, they're in cages.
Yeah, there's just chinchilla shit everywhere.
Chinchillas work.
No, there's still chinchilla shit everywhere. There's a towel and shit underneath them, but yeah, they poop and they chew. That's what chinnies do.
Brendan posted that he wants a chinchilla coat. You could auction it off.
Oh God. Oh, you hear? Oh, Lori's gonna.
I heard Lori.
Whoever Brendan is about to get fucking stabbed in the face hole. No, and one of the females is supposedly pregnant, so we'll see. But yeah. So I'll give Joe a chinny baby.
Fuck no, you won't.
You're gonna see a snake eat a chinchilla. Is what you're gonna see.
No, we will be rehomed.
No, they're cute.
They're so good.
But
see, genus is not much different than a guinea pig. That's not true. I've never feared about my guinea pig overheating. I would totally fear about a chinchilla overheating.
Yeah.
Those things, you got to keep them cold.
But guinea pigs piss like 8 gallons a day. Like each day. Guinea pigs piss like much. Like,
can you litter train a chinchilla like you can a rabbit and guinea pig? Because I had litter trained guinea pigs.
Maybe you could with a chinny. I've never tried, but I think they'll just tell you to fuck off because, yeah. I mean, they're super sweet. The ones we got are really sweet.
Make my podcast about chinchillas.
Oh, fuck.
She's never going to be on the pod. Doesn't matter. She'll never be on. It's going to be a whole bunch of herps bitches and then Lori sitting in the back.
And James. The number one herps bitch right there.
Yeah.
Shawn's number one bitch.
Bitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of podcasts this week, another one that came out and I started watching it, but the problem is fucking Chris keeps putting shit out on YouTube and I don't have an hour to watch YouTube. But Chris put out his new leveling up one with JT Tomlinson.
I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I don't get the chance to watch YouTube. I barely watch the podcast when they, and then Zoom call. Like I haven't done a Zoom call in forever. It's been fucking hectic, but I really want to go watch the one with JT. I mean, it's fucking JT. Is he wearing cargo shorts in it?
Probably.
He's sitting, I think, at a desk. I can't remember if I'm sure he is. I don't think.
Okay. As long as he's wearing cargo shorts.
He probably.
He does. Yes, he does. We ran into him one time at Moody Gardens of all places, and it was freezing, and he had flip flops on, didn't he? No.
I wear flip flops.
I bet he had flip flops and skinny jeans on.
No,
I bet that's what he had.
It was skinny jeans. Of course, it's JT. He had skinny jeans on, but it's the only time I've ever seen him in jeans.
When you look like JT, you can pull off the skinny jeans. I'm just saying.
Oh, good Lord. No, skinny jeans shouldn't be worn. They should be burned. All of them should be burned.
Were they true skinny jeans or were they just like cut?
Have you ever watched? He wears skinny jeans.
I don't think he wears skinny jeans. I think he just wears like boot cut.
They were
they're just very well tailored. Like Brett with Venom.
Those were
Venom Life. He wears skinny jeans.
Oh no, he wore those leggings.
No, well,
those snake leggings.
Blake owns those things now.
But those are true, because true skinny jeans are like leggings.
Yeah, but no, the problem is the way JT's built. I think jeans become skinny jeans.
He wore jeans.
Anyway.
So he does. He does own pants. He does own. I know. He does own pants. They do exist.
So I need to finish watching his leveling up. But the problem is the leveling up. It's an hour long, and I'm good at trying to get stuff on a podcast while I'm.
Well, we've been doing this shit for 2 hours, so.
Well, but see, the great thing is I put this out on audio and someone can listen to it while driving.
That's
It
true.
took fucking Chris like 3 weeks to put the Hot Chicks episode out on audio. So I could
Because
finally
he
listen to
wants
it.
everybody to log in and watch it on YouTube. So you can.
I don't
sit
have
up
that kind of
here-
time. Look,
you
not
can
everybody's like
sit up
Chris
here-
sits in his apartment and doesn't leave it. That's not the fair. Everybody doesn't have that life.
Chris
but
has a job.
You have been
He does it from
quarantined.
home. That dude does not leave his
You've
cave.
been quarantined
Well,
for a
he's-
week. Why haven't you watched YouTube?
Chris
Because I've been
won't be.
watching alone.
Chris won't be at Conroe because of his
No, I
job. though.
No, I know.
Sucks.
I'm very sad.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
so-
coming. He's coming to the grand opening.
Yep.
Yeah, he told me that. And I told him I was going to be at the grand opening. So we'd see him there.
He's
He
gonna
said
come
he
to
was
the
going to do
conference.
podcast stuff at the grand opening. I'll probably
Yeah.
bring our podcast stuff for the grand opening.
Yes,
Cool.
definitely. Both
So
podcasts.
when is
Yeah.
when is the grand opening so everybody can hear?
The grand opening is November 20th.
November 20th.
We open our soft opening is October 5th. So James Bergoli start his first day of work is
September 16th.
September 16th.
That's going to be interesting.
Why?
Just Bergoli.
It's gonna fucking kill
Do you
him.
have a spot for his wife to sell bread?
You can't there in the pet shop because then you deal with food and
Oh,
regulations
food.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's something else in the works, maybe.
A food truck out front that sells just Bergoli bread.
No,
You can do.
no. Actually, Kayla's going to handle part time. She's going to handle some of the payroll stuff for me. That's what she does.
Cool.
So,
Gonna do the book.
the one thing about James that you'll never have to worry about is being the shop will be clean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can
It
see
will
that.
be immaculate.
He's
and-
definitely the woman in that relationship.
He irons his shirts. That's just his t-shirts.
Makes
That just-
badass
Martinis?
martinis too.
yeah. So no. And I made a post about the address or something like that on the website, and somebody said something about the daiquiri shop next door. Well, I thought it's like an empty parking lot next to us. Like there's a slab there, so they actually are building a daiquiri shop next door.
Well, that's cool.
To
That's
a
So
drive-through
dangerous.
daiquiri shop.
So our party's now when we're at Bryan after the show on Saturday. Our party's going to be at the shop with the daiquiri shop next door.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
You're going to open up a party room.
Heidi and Maria and all them wanted me to break out the stock tanks out of the back and put them out there for swimming pools in the yard. They did get in the hot tub. I didn't. Yeah, they were like, pull up stock tanks, fill them up.
Speaking of that, I'll
We don't
be
jump
on
in.
the very soon.
Like Kona got so tired from everybody going out there and follow her around, she fell asleep in the pasture out there. She was just out. She didn't make it back to her. She didn't make it back to her barn. She just was like, fuck this. Y'all leave me alone.
For anyone listening, Kona is the Aldabra tortoise, the big giant Aldabra tortoise
Big
that
giant
roams their
baby.
yard.
She's so sweet.
Anyways, all right, we've rambled on enough.
Yep.
It's time for me to go enjoy being able to walk around my house without a mask on.
Yes.
I'm sure. I haven't seen my wife all damn day. So like, we've been up at the shop since like 9 this morning. Well, I have.
I was working though. I did a lot of work.
I didn't say you weren't fucking working. Holy
You
shit!
know how many fucking posts I did today?
I
Calm
didn't.
down,
I
Lori.
got-
Nobody said anything about you. not
Lori, it's
working.
not all about you.
Yes, it is.
I got up at 10 for God's sake.
At the crack of 10.
It was like a
Jeez.
freaking record.
Hey, it beats noon, so
I say I'm sure James probably didn't get up.
I don't think I will go
until
till
noon.
11 or something.
And I don't
Yeah.
have any wine right now. None.
that's not my fault.
That's good.
You went to
Drink
the
some
store.
water.
No, I don't have any in my hand.
Oh, I didn't have any
I
here.
have wine in the house. There's
She does. She doesn't have any in her hand. So
Oh.
yeah. So Wednesday, 2 weeks from now,
Yes, Herps
Herp
bitches.
Bitches episode,
I will contact everybody. I'll talk to Lori. We'll figure out who we want.
and you will let. So is Katie going to take over for you, and you're not going to be in it, right?
Yes.
Katie can't figure out how to use this
I'm
phone.
not
to save her
gonna use
life.
all that stuff. Let's be real.
Well, you could just be off camera and turn his mic off.
And Shawn, you
No,
can
I think
say
it's
my-
James having to put up and deal with all the Herps bitches for 2 hours. That sounds like an awesome night to me,
Hey,
guys.
hey,
Yeah.
I started this podcast. Don't make me turn this podcast around.
Yeah, he's going to have to be on because he has to run everything. You're going to love it. James is just going to like bury his head into the table about halfway through.
Great.
Just fucking give up. It's going to be done.
Look, if Chris can do his hot bitches episode, I can do her
No.
hot chicks. Am I right? Oh, could you imagine if he called them hot bitches? he'd have been
He
fucking
would have
roasted.
someone would have hunted him down and
Yeah.
killed him. Like that would
They
not
would
even
have
be.
annihilated him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a post. I'm gonna make a big post about it.
They're one of the HERPS bitches. They're my HERPS bitches and they like it. The term of endearment.
The term
That's
of
right.
You're
endearment.
her bitches and you like it, damn it.
It's a
Yeah,
term
yeah.
of endearment.
HERPS bitch, you're gonna like it.
You don't like it or else.
Fucking right.
Hey, say hi to him.
Hi.
Hey, Lori.
Look, and she has her laptop. She's
Look at
still
Lori.
working.
I know. I've been working on lesson plans.
No.
I probably
Never
need
ending.
to support.
Yeah.
What in the fuck was I thinking trying to open up a pet shop?
I don't
Jesus
know.
Christ.
It's gonna be great, and everyone is looking
Yeah,
forward
that's
to it.
right.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So
Well, we talked about a lot of important stuff tonight. Well, you guys did. I was here for maybe a third of it.
You were having some YouTube time.
I was not having YouTube time.
he was
But
reading the shampoo bottles.
I was.
God, I remember that. Remember as a kid when you didn't have phone, the
I
internet. You,
feel great now.
you
That's
knew
when
every
took a
ingredient
book.
on the back of Pert Plus. That shit
Yep.
was
You took a book to the bathroom with you.
benzenate, sodium, quad, whatever.
No. Hold on. I bet you. Listen. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Methyl isothiazolinone. I guarantee you that's in a shampoo. I've read that fucking word so many times. Methyl isothiazolinone. Somebody look that shit up and tell me that's not in some fucking shampoo. Because I remember that
Probably,
fucking
that's,
shit
that
from when I was
sounds
a
like
kid.
it.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I read every shampoo.
Okay,
bottle.
so right now, if you want to get a hold of Shawn, just don't. He's too busy right now.
No, you can get a hold of me. Yeah. Tomorrow I'll be up at the shop. What am I doing tomorrow at the fucking shop? I can't remember. Oh,
You're
the electrician.
the electrician's coming.
Yeah.
And the doors being delivered.
No, I didn't get the doors out. I'll tell you about that later.
I get a little like OCD when it comes to painting, but if I feel better Saturday, I might come help paint.
Wait, what happened to the whole we're staying at this
I
house
know
all
we
weekend because
are,
you haven't
but
seen me all weekend?
But I want to paint.
Because you're
Who the
annoying the
fuck
fuck out of her.
Whoever wants to paint, we have to go shop for mattresses. Because
You
after
are
a
not
week on this
good at
mattress,
painting, therefore
Hey, there's-
you
No,
don't
there's-
understand the joy and satisfaction.
There's a mattress over in the dumpster across the street from the shop. You can have that one.
I
No,
think
thank
I'll
you.
pass. I prefer mine without bed bugs.
Gotcha. So
After a
no,
week on our mattress and not leaving our room, I now know we need a different mattress.
Oh,
yeah, I did paint swatches on the wall today a little bit, playing around with it. So
It's so therapeutic to paint.
There's
like that.
nothing nice about painting.
I love painting so much. Like
But-
y'all can just sit around and drink, and I'll paint, and it'll be great.
Okay.
You had Lori and
Okay.
drink.
God damn, wait till the fucking when the
Just keep me
daiquiri shop
company while I
opens.
paint.
When the daiquiri shop opens next door, holy
Oh,
fuck!
there's going to be one named after Lori. I guarantee it. By the first week, they're going to have
They
one.
need to have a HERPS daiquiri.
A purple and
It has
green
to be a purple and
daiquiri.
green HERPS daiquiri. Oh my
Purple
god.
and green herbs daiquiri.
Like
Yeah,
grape and green apple.
that shit will happen.
They're gonna love me.
They are.
They
You're gonna
are.
get like a special discount.
You're
card
going
or
to be
something.
look in the first year. They're going to buy a brand new car. You're going to see it. It's just going to say Lori on the license plate.
That's it.
Uh,
Oh god. All right,
Anyways,
James.
but-
People want to get a hold of us.
You never asked them how they get a hold of Shawn.
He said they could. People
Yes,
know how
well-
to get a hold of Shawn.
yeah, we have our website herpshow.net. You can, if you want information about the shop, it's info@herpshop.net. Still working on my freaking email for the show, so you can message us through the page. You can contact me on Facebook on the business page, Facebook/herpshow. You can private message me, and hopefully I'll reply. If not, you can message Lori, and she'll tell me to reply. So, and then our number, our actual business line. We have a business line now that for the show, it's posted on the website as well.
It's 867-5
309.
309. Anyways, if you want to get a hold of us, if you want to get a hold of Robert, who's not here tonight, but if you want to get a hold of Robert, it is lsreptileracks.com.
He
You can-
hates when you do that.
You can email him through there. If you email him about a price, please make sure it's not something that's already on the fucking website, because he always sends me that shit, and I'm like, that person's a fucking moron.
Doesn't
Like-
matter. It happens. It's going to happen again. It'll happen tomorrow.
It will all the time. It's amazing. Like, I don't get it. Anyways, lsreptileracks.com. If you want to get a hold of me, it is simply _serpents on Instagram, or simply serpents on Facebook, or the podcast is the Reptile Gumbo Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and at gmail.com. Don't forget to enter our giveaway this month again, so you can win all the utensils. All you have to do again is post a picture of yourself and a reptile, and put hashtag the Reptile Gumbo Podcast. If you're listening right now, if you heard these words come out of my mouth, go to your phone. You know you have a picture on there somewhere of you holding a snake. And I swear to God, if it's wearing a hat or any other stupid shit, I may delete it.
No, I'm gonna go find all of that.
But make sure you enter the giveaway. Shawn, thanks for coming on this week, and we are going to definitely have what?
You're not leaving anywhere. It's today Tracy's birthday?
I don't know. That's what Gina said, but Gina doesn't know everything.
Happy birthday, Tracy!
Gina makes shit up. She's a liar.
Birthday.
Gina's a liar.
Is it
Everybody knows
Tracy's birthday? It is
Yep,
Tracy's
it is.
birthday.
It is
Oh.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Tracy. She's as old as my sister because she's a baby.
Kevin said, "What if we don't have any reptiles anymore?" It's okay. It's okay. I
Photoshop.
I don't currently have any of his reptiles left anymore, but still, it's okay. Oh,
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't, because his fucking snake is the reason I got a goddamn ticket.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
It's Kevin's fucking carpet python. That's what.
Shit.
It was Kevin's carpet python. When I sold it, that's the reason I got that fucking ticket.
We don't have
Whatever-
Molly.
Molly wasn't his.
Molly was Drew's.
I gotta call the lawyer and see where we're sitting with that.
You should probably do that.
Last time he told me he'd call me.
He
at
told
some
us
point,
not to worry. He was like,
and not
"Don't
to
worry about
worry,
it." And I'm like,
whatever.
"But no, we're worried.
But I forgot all
no
about
money that is involved.
I forgot
There's
all
no
about it.
jail time.
It was
Gonna
Kevin's
have to do
snake
some community
sold
service.
at Shawn's show. None of this is my fault. It's everyone else's
What
fault.
the fuck?
Oh shit! All right,
Lord,
I'm going. Thank you, Shawn and Lori.
Love you
We'll
guys.
see you in 2 weeks.
love you too.
All right. Bye,
Thank you
guys.
everybody for watching. Good night.